Good evening, boys, girls, and MBs of all shapes, all sizes, all colors, and all orientations. Welcome one, welcome all to the only Alec Gunter stream, the only one on the internet, now the only one at all on YouTube, right? Because fuck Twitch. Fuck them. Don't need them. Don't need them. Never did. Never did. No, sir. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, I'll happily get back on Twitch as soon as that asshole's gone. I don't want to get into it too much. It's just randomly popped into my head. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. Good to be here. Good to be here. Very good to be here now, right? After the election. Let's go, baby. I'm fucking psyched about that. I'm, in fact, all the sizes. Nice. The size singularity has arrived. GYAT indeed. GYAT indeed. I concur. It's funny because I can see what you guys say before it shows up on the screen, so it looks like I'm, it looks like I got, psychic powers. Looks like I got, psychic powers or something. Cops are gonna start using me as some kind of, medium to solve crimes and whatnot. Are you ready for right-wing riots from now until this next December? I can't wait, honestly. I'm gonna be the first one to show up with my mic. You know, get some good images. I think that'll be pretty good. With my mic and my camera. I'm really disappointed, honestly, that one video I did on the first issue 1 did not get that much traction. I really did think that would get more views. I'll show you guys which one I'm talking about real quick. It has a lot more now that I've popped off, but even now, it's just like disappointing. See, it's this issue 1 Ohio. Initially, it had like 100, like a little over 100. Now it's at 367, which, you know, I guess. But the reason that I thought it would do well is because it's like formatted so differently. See, I'm out with Greycraft, and we're just out like recording people.
What brings you out here today?
Idiots like that.
The protesters over here?
Granted, I held my mic a little bit too close.
Absolutely.
Okay, what are they doing that you disagree
So
with?
it sounds really bad.
The signs they're holding up, the ones holding an American flag up, it's just horrible.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what's horrible about it? Like, what specifically do you disagree with them on?
How they want people to vote now. I mean, for people to make our own decisions and stuff for us, and I don't want that.
Okay, so vote no on Ohio issue 1, just to be
Yes.
clear. They want you to vote no on issue 1.
Right, absolutely.
So-
And half of them are young. They don't even know what the hell they're doing now.
And keep in mind, by the way, while you're watching this is the initial issue 1, which they were trying to circumvent democracy with, to prevent what just happened.
Okay, so you're voting yes, presumably, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, can I ask you why?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Just vibes. Just
All my
vibes.
family's voting yes and everything like that. So it's-
Just vibes, man. I feel like this content kind of works best as shorts. I agree that, you know what, I'll agree with that. I think that people like their little shorts with those types of interactions. But with videos, it's like, You have to have a very specific audience built up already, or be very good at it. Yeah, bro doesn't even know what he's mad at. Good point. But yeah. Yeah, I was a little disappointed that they didn't get more views, but it's fine. There is plenty more to do. Never a day's rest. Oh, now I remember what I was going to make. I was going to make something before I started stream, because I was like at the store picking something up real quick, and I got in my car, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to make that. And then I got home, and I opened up Photopea, and I was like, wait a minute. What was I going to make again? And I was pissed because I couldn't remember, but I remember now. Hold on. Here, we'll do it together. We'll do it as a family. Yes. Meme time, baby. This works. You guys know Death Battle, right? There they are. Perfect, perfect. I've seen a few pics of death battles, but not actual videos. They're really good. Recently they've really been popping off. I think I've gushed about it a little bit already on stream, but I'll do it again because I love it so much. Hold on. What is it called? I can't think and do this at the same time. Sorry. Give me a sec. Drop shadow. Which you'd think I'd be able to do, given I can play video games and talk at the same time very easily, but it's much different. Much different. Okay, wait. This needs to go. There we go. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't see it. Here, we'll just save ourselves some work. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Got it. Okay. You guys see my files? Wait, you won't see my files anyway. Don't look at my hard drive. Don't do it. There we go. Okay. I got that out of my system. We're good. Yeah, the death battle I was trying to think of was, what are their names? The bad guy from Gravity Falls, right? Perfect. Perfect. Here, go like the tweet. Bill Cipher, thank you. And then, the Chaos guy from Discord, from My Little Pony. You wouldn't think that that would be a very good death battle, but it was very good. Like, I was very surprised. Honestly. So, that's a really good one if you guys want to go watch that one. Hello, Gaius Winston. Welcome. Guitar Rocker, I'm adding you as a mod. If you want. You don't have to have it, but I trust you. the music loud enough for you guys? I can't hear it. Now I can hear it. Scooby versus Courage was so good. No, it was so good. I used to watch Death Battle on here, but I feel like it's kind of just a cheap way to fill up the time now. So I don't really do it anymore. But you guys should definitely go watch Courage versus Scooby-Doo. It's so good. I don't know. I just feel like raw reactions to things that I'm either just watching for entertainment or because I already agree with it is a little cheap. I don't try to shit on other people for doing it, but it's not my thing anymore. It used to be. Two exceptions I make are, one, gym fails. I'll still watch gym fails because I feel like something like that is like built to be reacted to, you know? And then the other thing, new logo, yes. I'm glad you guys like the new logo. The other thing is, oh yeah, try not to laugh challenges. Those are the two, because like that's transformative in my opinion. To me, that seems correct. That seems fine. Not gonna lie, the new logo is kind of stinky. Well, that's not very nice. Somebody did point out to me that it's exactly the same as someone else's logo. But I don't know that at all. I have no clue about that because I don't want to get sued or anything. So of course I don't know about that, but I've heard rumors that it is. Who is it? I forget, honestly. Some kind of martial arts thing. I never heard of them, but apparently people have, so. Yeah, allegedly. Allegedly. Can't prove anything. On another note, an unrelated note. Oh, tell me who you commissioned, Queen Laura. But on an unrelated note, I went and worked out today. I know that every time I work out, I tell you guys because I'm just proud of myself afterwards. But going and working out is just so hard for me now, and I don't know why. Like this year, I just completely took a tumble. Oasis? Nice. Oasis has some of the best art. Oasis is my graphic designer, just so you all know. If you like the logo, you can thank her. If you don't like it, you can blame her. But I don't know why I've been having such a hard time lately with working out. It's been really tough. Like I'll go to work out and like in the middle of it, I'll just get the biggest migraine and like my body that can't lift what it used to, and so I'm like discouraged because like I only benched 2 plates today, you know? And I did 10 reps the first time, and you know, that's above average. I'm not trying to say that's bad in general. That's just not where I was at. And so I'm disappointed in myself, you know? But I know that if I just stick with it, I'll get it back quickly. It only takes a few weeks to like get back to where you were. Up to like a month, maybe 2 months, maybe. But usually it takes like up to a month to get back to where you were. And I can't stick with it. I can't. I'm having a really hard time. But I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna try to go every day this weekend, regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of if I feel like I'm not hydrated or gonna throw up or what. Like, no, just go. Well, if I feel like I'm gonna throw up, you should stay home. It's flu season. But besides that, if I'm feeling actually sick, then I'll stay home. But if I'm feeling just kind of icky, like like when you know you don't have a virus, but you feel under the weather, you know, like you just feel like shit. Still gotta go. Still gotta do it. Even if I just show up for 3 exercises, still just have to show up to the freaking gym and bust some out, you know? Rant over. Alright. Also, have I already mentioned the White Forest website? I'm talking with the White Forest people who are, I'm next on their list to get a website. So, if you don't like the YouTube layout, congratulations, neither do I. But soon it won't be a problem, because you'll be able to go to alecgunter.com, which, don't try to right now, hold on. Let me check something. Oh! Wait. Oh, man, I was excited for a second. This is all that shows up. It's the GoDaddy thing still. So. It's registered, so I own it. I've been paying for it. I paid the first year only $5 for it, and then the next year I think was 30. Really, really not bad. Why not alecgunt.er? That's not bad at all, but alecgunter.com is fine too. I got that one because I just wanted to, I swooped in on it before I was ever relevant at all. Like, I had like my followers on Twitch were like in the hundreds. My views were in the single digits. Which sometimes they still are. But usually when I'm only when I'm gaming. But yeah, I parked it, you know? I just parked. I had to get ahead of it. So I got alecgunter, and also it was way cheaper than alecgunter.gg. Way cheaper. alecgunter.gg was like 70. I don't know if that's the route that I had to take, but that's the one I took. alecgunter.com's fine. Oh, this is Earthbound. I thought this was Pokemon. I can't hear it that well, though. Okay, well, I should probably open up... Oh, yeah, I forgot. I was going to react to Matt Walsh coping about the abortion thing. Ooh, we should do that first. I think that'll be a good way to celebrate. Let's do that. It seems that Matt Walsh has kind of become central to my identity, so hey, I'll take it. I feel like I'm zoomed out too much. You guys like that better? I think that's what it's usually at anyway. Let me DM you on Discord. What's going on? You can DM me and I'll read it, but... Lots of conservatives coping about it. It's honestly beautiful. And I want to do this Matt Walsh react, but I also just want to look at, like, general coping conservatives.
All right, so
Just sent the image. I don't have anything. I don't have any messages. Are you sure you're messaging the right person? Did you send... Wait, did you send it in the server or did you DM it? Oh, Oasis. Oh, I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Oh, what? You're sending me similar looking logos? Okay, I know that it's similar to a lot of other logos. I don't care. All right, we're claiming it. I'm laying my claim. Yeah, I didn't know either. Here. So that we remember, we'll mod you. There we go. Now we won't forget. Okay. I thought they were just being negative about the new logo. Oh, okay. Well, I hope you like it because you're the one who came up with it. Then again, as an artist, that would explain maybe why you don't like it, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's right. Who has, like, good cope? Because I feel like this Matt Walsh video is going to get really old really quickly. And I don't know if I want to respond to the whole thing.
Yesterday was.
Is this the same video that he's got on Twitter?
Yesterday.
Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, good. Thankfully, thank God, because that way we can watch it on YouTube. Twitter's player is garbage. There's definitely been some good ones. Yeah, pull them up. The next week of... I hope you guys are prepared for the next week of content, just reacting to coping about Ohio passing issue 1. You guys like that? Would you like that? Here, Matt Walsh. Yeah, we're gonna watch his video, or at least what we can stomach. I might not watch the whole thing because they basically just repeat the same talking points, and that makes it so that I don't want to watch them unless they are entertaining on their own, which Matt Walsh is not. Oh wait, did I post on? Damn it. Sorry, I posted my Twitch link in my Discord. There we go. The worst state, just made a good decision. We're not as bad as Florida. Even if you think Ohio is bad, everyone agrees that Florida's the worst. It needs to be sawed off the map, Bugs Bunny style. Okay. What's the song? Sonic Mania Medley. Sonic the Hedgehog 30th Anniversary Symphony. Okay, but let's pause it for now so we can get into Matt Walsh. All right, so if you don't live under a rock, or especially if you live in Ohio, you'll know that we just got two very important issues passed through in this past election. So we got issue 1 passed handily, quite handily, which enshrined abortion rights up to the 26-week mark, I believe, into our Constitution. So up to 26 weeks, you can get an abortion, no questions asked. No questions asked. You can just walk up and grab one. You can get it from the drive-thru, right? I'm sure that Planned Parenthood's working very hard on their drive-thru abortion window. But until that's done, you will have to go through the front doors. And unfortunately, there will still be a lot of people getting very mad at you. That being the case, at the very least, you can get one, unlike in Tennessee. And since I brought it up, we will be doing a fundraiser for Tennesseans who need to travel out of state for abortions very soon. So look forward to that. I'll try to get the video uploaded before the fundraiser happens. We'll see. So anyway, the reason I brought up Tennessee, though, is because that's Matt Walsh's home state. Okay, and he has done a very good job. Him and his goons have done very good in his state at keeping those people from not being able to access basic abortion rights, right? So he did not like what Ohio did, and he is going to make his voice heard. Let's see what our soy boy over here has to say.
It was election day in a few states around the country. It was not a good day for Republicans. This should come as no surprise, as Republicans haven't had a good day on election day since 2018. It's been loss after loss after loss.
So that's crazy, man. Maybe you should get better opinions.
Since then, Last night, Republicans lost the governor's race in Kentucky. They lost the state house of Virginia. And the most troubling result of all, they lost on a ballot initiative in Ohio that has now enshrined child sacrifice as a constitutional right. Woo! Reading from the Daily Wire, quote, voters in Ohio voted Tuesday to approve a ballot initiative that places a right to an abortion into the state's constitution. Pro-life advocates say the measure will effectively make abortion legal at any point in pregnancy. The initiative brought in millions in spending with more than $18 million.
So he's saying any point because the specific wording is that it's legal up to the point of viability, and then it has to, the only reason you can get it is if the mom's life is in danger. A measure which, by the way, I've talked about and I disagree with, and I think that it should be legal up until any point for whatever reason. And the reason I say that is because doctors are tasked with, I've said it ad nauseum, I feel like at this point, but doctors should be the ones overseeing these decisions, not the government. That being the case, at least you can get one up to the 26-week mark, okay? That's huge. That is enormous. And I'll take that W 10 times out of 10. But past that point, now here's the other thing though. If the doctor says that the mom's life was at risk, the state is forced to listen to that doctor. They're forced to. So even if the mom's life wasn't technically at risk and it just would have been a very, 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 very painful pregnancy and birth up to that point, and that's why they decided to stop it, the doctor can just say, yeah, her life was at risk. And they cannot ask questions. And I think that a lot of doctors will probably do that, which is good. Anyway.
Dollars being spent in favor of the pro-abortion initiative, with just $7 million being spent in opposition since August 9th, according to NBC.
Is his beard creeping up his lower lip? I've posted before. He looks like he's got duck lips, honestly. It's not like my beard.
News. The effort to put abortion into the state constitution was backed by the Ohio Democratic Party, the ACLU of Ohio, Planned Parenthood, and Ohio's Women's Alliance. Martin Haskell, a proponent of partial birth abortion, gave $100,000 to Ohio Physicians for Reproductive Rights, a political action committee that opposed a Republican-backed measure that would have made it more difficult to amend the state constitution, and has advocated for passage of Issue 1.
Get wrecked.
Prominent Ohio Republicans like Governor Mike DeWine.
Oh, sorry, you wanted to fuck with our democracy? Sorry, buddy.
Senator J.D. Vance spoke out against enshrining abortion into the state's constitution, calling the measure extreme. Now, this victory for baby murder was, of course...
The camera apparently got tired of looking at his face, and they had to slap it into submission.
Cause for celebration in the media and among child sacrifice enthusiasts across the nation.
Camera.
In Ohio, they applauded and cheered and embraced with tears of joy in their eyes.
Yeah.
Watch.
Abortion is health care.
Oh, got a little candy.
And abortion access is the law of the land in Ohio. Tonight, Ohioans United for Reproductive Rights passed Issue 1 and put Ohioans back in charge of their decisions about pregnancy and abortion. Together, we successfully enshrined the right to reproductive freedom into the Ohio Constitution.
Worthy cause for celebration.
Just imagine reacting that way to the news that children in the womb just lost all of their human rights, because that's what this concept.
Yep, I will happily celebrate the loss of rights for fetal tissue. They do not deserve human rights, and let's say that they did. They still don't deserve the right to attach themselves to people who don't want them to attach themselves to them.
Constitutional amendment does.
That goes beyond human rights.
Children in the womb have no rights at all.
Good.
If you are not yourself a bloodthirsty sociopath, it is impossible to...
By the way, that's not even true. You can still get charged for a double homicide if you kill a pregnant woman. And I believe, but personally, I believe that's fine. I think that's fine. You know why? Because that mom wants to have that baby. So we can treat it in some respects as a human. I think that's totally fine. Seriously, I do. I stand by that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because that mom is fully expecting that baby to come to fruition, right? So I think that's fine to treat that as a double homicide. It's just, it's different circumstances.
Fully imagine reacting this way, which is why, if you're like me, when you see them joyously celebrating the mass slaughter of children, you become more resolved than ever to fight and defeat these people.
Point being, fetuses have not lost all of their rights. Just the right to keep themselves implanted into somebody who doesn't want it. We're at the beginning of stream, can you tell? People who do not want them attached to them.
But if you're like many milquetoast Republicans, you become more resolved than ever to cower and compromise and give these people whatever they want in hopes that they will have mercy on you. And that has essentially been the analysis from a great many alleged conservatives since last night.
I hate it.
And before that, they have determined that not only was the result in Ohio an indictment of the pro-life message, but that the other results were also indictments of the pro-life message. In fact, these Republicans insist that every Republican defeat in every recent election is because of abortion. We must abandon the issue.
I think that a large part of it is because of abortion, because most Americans, it's not a secret, even the Republicans know it at this point, that most Americans like access to abortion, and that includes Republicans. Like, they're going to be forced down on this issue left and right every time.
Or compromise significantly on it in order to have any chance of winning, they say. According to this conventional right-wing wisdom, the overturning of Roe in the Supreme Court was not a great victory for human rights, but was in fact a political disaster that is solely to blame for
That is
all of
true.
the losing the Republicans.
That is true. No, you're being dumb, Matt. That's true. That was political suicide for them to do that. They did it in the wrong order. If you wanted people on your side, you should have just stuck to the trans shit, okay? Because you had your foot in the door on that. You did. You know, but then the Supreme Court jumped straight to women, and it's like, well, half the people alive are women. So like, more than half, I've heard. So that's not going to work. More than half of the people, and you're still a virgin. Just think about that.
Republicans have been doing.
Still can't get laid.
The fact that this Republican track record of losing stretches back before Dobbs. The fact
Not
that
Matt Walsh, you, the viewer. I'm insulting you specifically.
have been getting wiped out since before the Supreme Court issued any decision on this topic has apparently not occurred to these people. Or it has, but they find it convenient to blame pro-lifers anyway. If you turned on Fox News last night, and I'm not sure why you would ever want to do such a thing, you would have heard a lot of this kind of capitulating and blame shifting.
Oh, man. The worst person you know just made a great point.
Here's just a short taste of it.
Democrats are trying to scare women into thinking Republicans don't want abortion legal under any circumstances. And I go back to Pennsylvania 2022, the Republican candidate for governor, if I remember correctly, no exceptions for rape, incest, or the mother's life, and lost to a non-incumbent gubernatorial candidate, Democratic candidate, by a margin that was not seen since the 1940s. So I have to believe that is an indication that the women in America, suburban moms, want it probably legal and rare and probably earlier than, you know, at the point of viability. How do they stop bumbling on abortion? What's the answer?
Well, number one, the Republicans have to clear up this issue across these states with clear lines, like a 15 to 20 week abortion ban with exceptions for life, incest, and rape, and make it clear. You look at states where that is set in stone, and we don't have these problems. We don't have these.
Honestly, if they just stuck with the line that, like, past viability, it's not acceptable anymore, they would have gotten farther with this, because ultimately their goal is to outlaw abortion completely because they want to control women's bodies, okay? But they would have had a lot more success with their end goal if they had just taken this more slowly. But unfortunately, fascists are not very good at taking things slowly. They have to, you know, this is why they're no good at sex, right? Like, they have to immediately jam it through.
Problems in Florida. We don't have these problems in Georgia. We don't have these problems in North Carolina.
Yeah, I think it's slow.
And part of that is because of that particular issue.
So that's Sean Hannity and Reince Priebus talking about how Republicans can start winning. Now, you may ask yourself, what in God's name do these two know about winning? What wins do they have under their belt? In what way has either of them ever in their entire careers helped conservatism win anything? Serious question. What have they ever done? What victory have they ever achieved? What ideological battles have they fought and won in their lives? What ideological battles have they fought at all? Why the hell would anyone come to them for insight on this issue or any other? These are all very good questions, but unfortunately they are not alone. The Republicans are losing because of the abortion issue. The issue is unwinnable. Pro-lifers are screwing everything up, and we must come out and endorse legalized abortion in order to win. That is the message from
things.
Many of you. I mean, you heard.
No, seriously, like Matt Walsh is going to shoot himself in the fucking foot if he does not bite the bullet on this. Okay, that's two gun-related metaphors for you. But anyway, Matt Walsh, as long as he sticks on this abortion thing, like, there's no way. Like, the trans thing's dead. The abortion thing's going nowhere. And he's going to, yeah, exactly. He's going to be holding this L for a while.
Did he say it? Abortion should be safe, legal, and rare.
He's going to circle the drain with that L.
That's what he said.
In his hands.
He's literally repeating pro-abortion talking points from the 90s. He's a 1990s Clinton-era Democrat, which is not exactly breaking news, I suppose. But just to be clear, if you are a supposed conservative now saying that we should embrace legalized abortion, that safe, legal, and rare should be our mantra, then you are, make no mistake, advocating for a full-scale surrender on one of the most pivotal, fundamental issues of our time.
Safe, legal, and rare was a very common conservative, like, talking point, because they always knew that an outright abortion ban was never going to be a winner. It just wasn't. Abortion, here's the thing that a lot of people don't know today, but we didn't, like, before we understood how conception worked, we just assumed, like, for all of human history, correctly so, by the way, that a fetus was not a human yet. It wasn't alive. It couldn't. Now, where we did get it wrong is we thought that it couldn't feel. It couldn't, you know, it didn't have anything there. Like, we thought there was basically nothing there. Now we know that there is something there, and I'm not discounting that. You know, the fetus does eventually develop nerve endings, and it can eventually feel things. And that's why I think that past the point of viability, if you can reasonably save a fetus from a person who no longer wants it attached to them, and by reasonable, I mean like it wouldn't cause them immense pain or long-term complications, things like that. And I don't know exactly how the abortion procedure works. That's not my specialty. But if you can save the fetus without any of those complications, then I think you should. I do. But that's not my call to make. I'm not in the room with them. So that's why that I think that it should just be held in the hands of doctors, okay? I had an original point and I already forget. Anyway, sorry. Sorry if that was a non sequitur.
You're free to take that position, but please, for the love of God, don't pretend to be a fighter if you do. You're waving the white flag. You're doing the thing the left never does, and Republicans always do. But before...
My point was, sorry, I remember. My original point was that their motto was always safe, legal, and rare. And that would be a winning motto, you know? Like, that people can actually latch on to that. But you're not going to get away with this puritanical bullshit of just no abortions ever, period.
You hoist that flag, let me offer a few thoughts, a few counter-arguments to the Sean Hannitys of the world. First of all, you can blame pro-lifers for the Republican Party's string of electoral defeats, or, again, especially given that this string of defeats began before Dobbs, you can consider instead the possibility that Republicans, by and large, have been running bad candidates and bad campaigns.
That's
it's especially worth considering, given that many of the Republican losers over the past few years have not exactly been pro-life hardliners. In plenty of cases...
Of course, if you're a Republican, you're already a bad candidate. Am I right, folks? Am I right? Oh, come on now. Come on, Dubsy. I had a laugh track here. Thank you.
Been essentially pro-abortion. Dr. Oz lost in Pennsylvania. I mean, we heard Hannity blame the loss in the governor race because supposedly the person was a hardline pro-lifer. Dr. Oz, liberal on the issue in Pennsylvania, and he lost. So how does that work with your equation, Sean? Second, the claim that conservatives should moderate on abortion is not some brilliant new insight, okay? I love all these people acting like they just came up with this. You know, I've just been thinking about it.
That's also true.
This is not some bold political innovation. This is what the Republican establishment has been saying for my entire life, since I was born and before. The Republican establishment has insisted that the only way to win is to go soft on abortion, compromise, hide from the issue, undersell it. Yes. This has been the conventional milquetoast Republican wisdom forever.
Well, if there's another answer, Matt, for one thing, by the way, I do want to commend Matt at least a little bit for standing by his convictions in this moment, even if he can't do it when I ask him a direct question. But in this moment, he is. He is saying, no, I believe that abortion is wrong and we should not compromise on it, period, right? Okay, that's his stance, whatever. But the thing is, like, most Americans don't agree with you. They just don't. So even if you're right, you got to find a better package to sell this in. That's the point. So if you don't cede ground on that, you are going to lose. You know, I've had to cede ground before myself on the ACAB thing, right? Unfortunately, most Americans don't say ACAB. They don't say fuck the police. Most Americans trust the police. They do. All right? Now, you can break down that trust slowly over time, as you should try to do. But if you're walking around saying, ACAB, I hate the police. Fuck the police. We can't give them any more money. Like all the time, nobody's going to give you the time of day. They're simply not, even if you're right. Okay, so that's why you have to package it better. That's why I don't say ACAB as much anymore. I still stand by the messaging that ACAB represents. But anymore, I think that it's just not very productive to constantly be shoving that down people's throats when there's like nothing going on. At least in the national news, even though there always kind of is, related to like cops being blatantly and openly bad. It's those moments that that make national headlines that you need to clasp onto and make like content on that. And that's when you say, this is why I don't like cops. You know, you have to be optically favorable.
Does it appear to have been effective? Does it have an actual track record of success? Ask yourself that. The Republican establishment has been losing and scapegoating social conservatives forever.
Of course,
he
hates democracy.
Blaming us for their failures.
All Republicans
since
do.
always. This is nothing new. Why would you buy into it now? The truth is that social conservatives are the only ones on the right who have been doing anything or winning anything recently.
Isn't it not even a human being according to the Bible? According to the Bible, it's life at first breath. But like, let's be real. Christians don't read the Bible. They don't. And to the extent that they do, they just like abstractly grab messages from like the guy who sold his daughter into sex slavery or something, and God said it was good or whatever. And it's like, well, the lesson's not that it's good to sell your daughters into slavery. The lesson's that about economics, right? And the art of making a deal, right? Like that shit. So like, to the extent they read the Bible, they don't even really fully understand it.
Not only are we not to blame for Republican losses, but we are the only ones who can claim any wins in the last few years, especially. Who else has done anything? Anybody? Hardcore social conservatives know how to fight the culture war. In fact, we're the only ones on the right who do. Third, this is...
Who the fuck is watching Matt Walsh? Like, what are you talking about? 65K views with 2.7 million subscribers from a day ago? I'm sorry, man. Vosh is beating your ass out of the fucking water right now.
Most important. Before you tell me that the pro-life message is a political loser, answer me this. How many Republican candidates fought back hard and effectively on this issue, actively went after the left, ran ads attacking their opponents for supporting the dismemberment of fully developed infants, which nearly every Democrat does, and actually countered the left's pro-abortion narrative with a strong...
I got to go back just a little bit. I zoned out.
Went after the left, ran ads attacking their opponents for supporting the dismemberment of fully developed infants, which nearly every Democrat does, and actually countered the left's pro-abortion narrative with a strong and affirmative pro-life narrative.
Yeah, that narrative being like 10 pictures of fetuses and graphic imagery of an abortion, a late-term abortion procedure. Because that's all my timeline's been the past few days. I got into some arguments with people who are like, they're like, look at this photograph. Right? It is like a bloody fetus. I'm like, I didn't need to see that, man. They're like, yes, you do. Look at it. Look at it. It's a fetus. Look at it. This is what you're supporting. And it's like, I also support heart transplants. That doesn't mean that I want to fucking look at one. That's silly.
How many did that? See, this is the problem. The pro-life message...
I also eat meat. Guess what? I don't want to see it getting made. I think that shit's gross.
...is being blamed in races where the pro-life message was never even
They're being
articulated.
vegans. They are being
it's being
vegans.
blamed for losing when there was never any fight. Pro-aborts in Ohio outspent the other side nearly 3-1 since August. And that's emblematic of the situation across the country. Our side is
also, we don't really have a democracy. That's bullshit. Yes, we do. I know that we have a very unstable democracy, and it has a lot of problems with it, but we do have one, okay? Don't forget that.
I thought we were officially a constitutional republic.
Don't buy that bullshit. That's a form of democracy. Like, yes, but also like people only say that shit when they're trying to say that no, we shouldn't have democracy. But anyway, my point is we have a democracy. Right, we have a democratic society. And I know that it's not perfect and it's got a lot of problems, but we're way better off than a lot of other countries, okay? We don't have a dictator. Joe Biden was elected into office. All right? And I wanted Bernie, and Bernie got dicked. Don't get me wrong. But he was elected.
Lifers are fighting. Republicans are not putting up a fight. So that doesn't mean we can't win, but it does mean we won't win if we don't even try. Consider this. Has any Republican anywhere...
They are trying.
Run an ad saying, essentially,
they're trying by ceding the ground on the abortion argument. You have to do that now. It's a losing battle.
What happens in a third trimester abortion? My opponent supports this.
Once again, if I ran for office on the policy that I hate the police and I want to get rid of police stations, nobody's going to fucking vote for me, even if I do genuinely hold that belief. So I'm not going to run on that. And also, I wouldn't, for the record, I would not institute those policies. But even if I were to say, like, this is my strongly held conviction, I want to get rid of police officers because I believe that police officers do bad things all the time and they're bad people. And so we're going to get rid of all the police officers. I would lose 10 times out of 10. I would lose. I would never win unless it was like by default in some like hodunk, whatever, mayoral race. Like this is the only circumstance in which I would win. So you have to compromise on some things for public image. You have to.
This is the most basic strategy. I'm not aware of
at least as a political
who's even attempted
person.
It. Now, I'm not saying that they should show an abortion in an ad because nobody would run it if they do, and you need people to run it, but they can describe what the procedure involves, okay? There's a way to get this message across.
Sure, describe
and it's just and people don't know this.
This is all ignoring the fact, by the way, that the vast majority of abortions are like taking a pill, and then you have a heavy flow period, and that's it. Because remember, before 8 weeks, the fetus is like a bean. Not even. Like that, like it's bean sized by 8 weeks. Okay. it starts microscopic and then grows into a bean by 8 weeks. And if you take a pill before, then you just flush it out like nothing else. Okay.
A lot of people don't know this. They don't really know what they're talking about when it comes to this issue. They don't know what this issue is. They don't understand. And so, has there been anyone who's run an ad saying, "Look, here's what this is.
Yeah, so
Here's
shove
what this guy
pictures
over
in
here
their
is running
face.
against me. He supports this."
That's what he wants to do.
And so, if you agree with him, then vote for him. You know, if you agree with him on that, I don't even want your vote. But if you're a decent person, then
If you agree with him on that, I don't even want your vote. That's cuck behavior. You should be trying to rack up every vote you can. Every single vote that you can. I don't care why people vote for Biden. You know, I don't care if they do it begrudgingly. I don't care if they've got Biden's pubic hairs, stuck up on their walls that they sniff every night before they go to bed. I don't give a shit. It's better than Trump. So if you're voting for Biden, you're on my side. I mean, ultimately, like, doesn't matter to me.
I think you know what you need to do. The point is to go on offense, to flip the script, to flip the conversation, focus it on the horrors and barbarity of abortion and the abortion industry. This has not really been done. It has not really been attempted. Most of the losing candidates have not done this.
Didn't someone make him say a dolphin fetus is a human fetus? That was a comedian that I don't remember who they were. I'm sure somebody in chat knows. But it was Charlie Kirk that was done to. I forget the comedian's name.
Hid from the issue instead of going on offense, which is, of course, the Republican specialty. You know, Democrats want to spend their entire time.
Wait, I have to go back. What's the Republican specialty?
Not really been attempted.
What's on
Most of the losing candidates have not done this. They have hid from the issue instead of going on offense, which is, of course, the Republican specialty.
No, the Republican specialty is calling Democrats like baby-eating fucking monsters. Like, that's usually what they do.
You know, Democrats want to spend their entire time talking about the hard cases, rape, incest, life of the mother, the cases that account for fewer than 1% of all abortions. They focus the whole conversation on that. Republicans...
Wait! Sorry, I keep going back, but I've got to run that back.
Talking about the hard cases, rape, incest, life of the mother, the cases that account for fewer than 1% of all abortions.
But they still exist. They still exist. So, of course, that's going to be the focus. Guess what? Let's say it's 0.5%. Here. Let's say it's 0.5%. I'm feeling mathy. We did bad math in the last time I did this, but I'm going to try to do good math this time. So we got here. Let's pull up some stats here real quick. Okay. Oh, sorry. Hold on. So we got so less than 1% of all abortions. So how many women get abortions every year? 615,911 abortions were reported during 2011 to 2020. 11.2 abortions per year. It looks not per year. Way more than that. Per 1,000 women. Okay. So 11.2 abortions per 1,000 women. Population of United States. 331.9 million. So we'll say it's like 332. We'll just round it up. So 332 million divided by 2. We'll say that's the number of, times 1 million. Okay. So there's 166 million women in the United States. And there's 11.2 abortions for every 1,000 women. So, hold on. Sorry, this is disorganized. Okay, so 11.2. So this, let me think. So 166 million. So keep that number in mind. 11.2 divided by 1,000. Okay, so 1.12% of all women get an abortion. So this times 0.0112. Okay, so this is the number of women that get an abortion at some point, right? At some point in their life, right? 1 million, about 1,008,000. We'll just say 1,800,000. We'll round it down, okay? So let's take 0.05% of this, since it's less than 1%, right? Less than 1%. So wait. Times point. You scared the shit out of me. I didn't know you were out there. No, it's okay. I was like, who the fuck is coming into my house?
It's just me, the other person who lives in the house.
Sorry. So times 0.005. So you got 9,000 women at some point in their life over the course of, well, no, the current number of women existing right now at some point in their life, 9,000 of them are going to have to go through this situation. And that's conservatively speaking, okay? 9,000 women out of the current existing women. I mean, I can't even fathom that number of women standing in the same room as me. And they matter, okay? And I'm sick and fucking tired of these ghouls pretending like they don't. So if any of them try to peddle that bullshit of, oh, it's only less than 1% of all women, okay, that's 9,000. 9,000 women that currently exist that are going through that or have gone through that or will go through that at some point, statistically speaking. 9,000. And you want to tell me that you don't give a shit about them. Okay. Okay. If that's what you're saying, then sure. I mean, that's disgusting, but at least you're standing by it. All right, that's enough math.
They focus the whole conversation on that. Republicans allow themselves to get baited into focusing the conversation there.
Yeah, because they care, unlike you.
Rarely have they responded by saying, we're not going to talk about the 1% of cases until you answer some questions about the 99%. Here's what abortion is. Here's why 99% of abortions are performed. Here's what happens in most of these abortions. Here's what happens in a third trimester abortion.
Most abortions aren't even surgical, I don't think, right? I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure most abortions are just a pill. Like, they're not even surgical.
You need to answer for that before we talk about anything else. We're not going to even talk about
Sure, okay. My answer is I don't give a shit about the fetus. It's not a human.
1% until you talk about the 99.
That's your answer.
That should be the mantra, not safe, legal, and rare. No, the mantra is we're not going to let you people dictate this conversation. We're not going to let you hide from the difficult questions that you need to answer.
I sure dictated the fucking conversation when I asked him my question.
Now, very few Republicans have had the balls or wherewithal or intelligence to respond that way. And so they lose.
By the way, he did not respond that way. Just so you know, when I asked him about that situation, that is not how he responded. So he can't even stand by his own bullshit.
Now, the truth is, for me,
he wriggled out of it like a pussy.
Even if it really did mean losing every election from now to kingdom come. To accept child murder is to forfeit your soul. If we are really a country, if it is true that we are now a country where child murder is so fundamentally popular that it's impossible to win by opposing it, then we are not a country worth saving anymore. Then who cares about this country? Why are we even trying to save it? You're telling me that if that's the country that's like fundamentally grounded in the slaughter of children?
Oh, shit, hold on, my chat broke. One sec. I was trying to figure out why. At least I think my chat broke. Did it break? Hold on, let me refresh it. Okay.
Where that's as popular as apple pie? And that's the country we're fighting for? No, we deserve whatever destruction's coming our way in that case. I will never accept abortion. I will never compromise on it. I would rather die.
Then you'll lose. Then
That's okay,
then die. Then perish.
But
okay, you'd rather die? Okay. We'd all be better off, man. Seriously. Perish.
the good news is that the whole premise is flawed. Okay, it's not. I don't believe that it's true that this country as a whole is so enamored with abortion.
Oh, yeah, true. Less than 1% of abortions are third trimesters. So answer for that, right? They're not even like 99% of all abortions take place before fucking, or 90%, I should say, take place before viability, like before the 22-week mark. So like, what's up? So answer for that. Like, what, do they not matter?
Okay, I don't believe that it's true that we are, in fact, a
you
country.
By the way, you wouldn't get mad on this because he would just say that it's a child. So don't bring that up.
Baby killers. There are some baby killers in this country. I don't think they're the majority. The pro-life message can win in this country.
Well,
But
if you consider people who get abortions or support abortions to be baby killers, and this is your terminology we're going with, right? Then yes, the majority of the United States is what you call baby killers. That is a fact, and that's been proven over and over again, and you have to contend with that.
only if we have the courage to fight for it and the intelligence to fight well. That's where Republicans tend to fail,
Intelligence.
both in the courage and the intelligence departments.
Something Matt is very famous for.
That is why they lose. And that is why those Republicans are today canceled. Thanks for checking out this.
Well then, I mean, he's not wrong about Republicans being like in shambles right now. I mean, they have factions forming within the current Republican movement about like, oh, should we like give up on the abortion thing? Should we compromise like and say 22 weeks is fine or whatever? Like, you know, and then there are like other staunchly pro-life Republicans who say, no, I don't care. No matter what the circumstance, we cannot perform abortions, period, end of story. We can't do it. And they're fracturing really badly over that. The smart ones are saying like, yeah, we need to compromise on this, because the ones who don't compromise are just going to flounder. Okay. They're going to be irrelevant. I mean, Matt Walsh, you saw, I mean, look at his fucking view count, 65K in a day. Like let's take a look at some of his other videos.
All right, so
I'm sure some of these have like over 100,000, right? And not being sarcastic. Yeah. See, that one does. That one does. That one does. So like, he's not. Oh, that one has 700,000. Jesus. Like all of his TikTok reacts. Yeah. When he does the fucking TikTok react shit, that's when he gets the views, of course, because people love watching libs get owned. But most of his videos here, with some exceptions, I have like this one's, well, that's 3 hours ago. We won't count that. So like a day ago, 65K. A day ago, 61K. 110K, 141K, 25K on this one. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, like, he's doing about as well as Vosh does typically. And Vosh is like a fraction of his size and has been online like a fraction. Well, I don't want to undersell him too much. No, yeah, it's a fraction, yeah. Because Matt Walsh at 2.7 million, so, you know. So yeah, these guys are falling out of relevance very quickly, is my point. But yeah, that's Matt Walsh's input for you on the Ohio thing. I think it's cool personally that we get to save more mothers' lives, but you know, Matt Walsh doesn't agree. So, agree to disagree, I suppose, Matt. I have a hard time conceptualizing 700,000 people. That's because you're normal. Most people can't think about like how like that amount of people. I think the most people that you can like honestly conceptualize at once, and only from like a bird's eye view, is like maybe 1,000. Like maybe. Like we have a really bad time past like a dozen or so. Should I talk about how badly I ratioed Kelly Cadigan? Do you guys know who that is? I ratioed her really badly without even meaning to. Well, good thing that's not on screen. Yeah, the trans Republican. She's not a Republican anymore, and she actually backed off of that, and I was like, oh, good, character growth, right? No. She's sliding back down the pipeline again. Ohio not being cursed and actually passing good legislation is awesome. It is very cool. It is very pog, I must say. You know what? I made a bunch of videos about her in the past, and my editor needs short content to edit, so we'll go ahead and do it. We'll just do a very, very short segment. All right. So those who have been around for the show for a while know a name. Know a trans person by the name of Kelly Cadigan, and she used to be she was very briefly a grifter for conservatives, like an outwardly open grifter. Like she said she's a grifter, right? Like she owned it. And then she kind of had a come to Jesus moment where she was like, she backed off. She's like, I've been thinking about a lot of stuff. I want to listen to people and kind of learn this stuff better. And even like, non-binary people or what have you. And I want to learn this stuff better, right? I want to understand it. So I had a lot of hope for her, and so I made 2 videos. One, which was basically calling her a grifter, which she was, and then the next one saying, "Oh, look, she's backed off of some of that grifty shit." Well, she's back on her grifter grind set, my dudes, and I'm very disappointed because I had a lot of hope for her. So, just to give you an example, like a brief overview of the problem, I've been following her ever since she said that she's going to back off the grift, and a lot of her posts have been like dunking on TERFs and stuff. She claims that she is against TERFs, which is good. We hate TERFs here. TERFs can go fuck themselves. Unfortunately, she's not completely uncringified, if you will. We'll see what I mean here in a second. So she posts a lot about like here. I'll show you her. Oh shoot, hold on. Make sure this is all okay. This is all safe for work. Okay. So yeah, here's a great example. Make trans women femme again, right? And then she has a video of herself doing like this sexy pose, and she's, she looks fine. She looks good. She is very clearly like she's been on hormone therapy since she was like young, right? Like she was on puberty blockers and all that good stuff. And her parents, I think, accept her identity and all that. So she looks, basically you would never guess that she's trans just by looking at her. Not to the extent that you can do that. Is the point. But like she's on this weird kick, which is like she just does not like non-binary people. She thinks they're faking it. And she also just thinks that like if you're not trying to pass as femme, or like if you're not trying hard enough as a trans woman, then you don't deserve to be called a woman. And it's just so stupid. It's so silly. Basically what she is a what is it called? She's a trans medicalist. She's a trans medicalist first and foremost, and then she's also got this thing going on where she's very set in the gender binary. You're either male or female, and that aligns to being either a man or a woman, respectively. Like that's her worldview. So she's gatekeeping, true scum gatekeeper. Thank you. I still don't completely know what true scum means, but I kind of get the vibe. Anyway, she also posted this just to give you more context. 5-year-olds do not need to be learning about gender ideology, quote unquote. If you disagree, you're the problem, #trans. So let's see what she says here. Now, just right off the bat, before I start this, I do want to say teaching kids, quote unquote, about gender ideology is not a thing. In as far as it is a thing, like we teach kids about gender before they're even fucking born. Right? Like we assign pink to girls and blue to boys. And then we dress our like 6-month-olds up in dresses to take them to church if they're a girl. And we dress them up in little suits and ties and, funny little shirts that say, I like boobs or whatever, if they're boys. Right? So we instill that binary before they even understand what it is or what's going on. So it's not unreasonable to think that like a 3-year-old, for instance, would understand that there is some kind of difference between a girl and a boy. And that technically could be qualified under gender ideology because you're specifically talking about gender, right? But let's see what she has to say.
A live stream where a bunch of woke extremists were debating a mother of a 5-year-old, a kid who's in kindergarten. And, the mom said, I don't really know if I want my 5-year-old being taught about gender ideology in the classroom, And it's not because I'm transphobic. It's not because I don't want my kid to grow up and be accepting. It's just that, I feel like that's a really young age.
So if you're told this by somebody, like let's say somebody close to you, what you say is, okay, tell me specifically what you don't want your kid learning. Because gender ideology is vague. Too vague. So you have to get them down on the specific points that they do not want their kids learning. And if you can do that, sometimes you can deprogram them a little bit. If they're being genuine.
Every other person on that panel told her she was a bigot, told her she was transphobic, and that she had to work on her internalized transphobia. This is exactly why the Conservative Party views a lot of...
Okay, if that is what happened, I agree that that's really stupid. And you should not do that. Never ever go for the, you have to work on your privileges. You have to reflect, sweaty. You see, I know better than you, my friend. No. People don't go for that. Trust me, I've been there. You have to meet people where they're at, ask them questions to get, a better understanding of where they're at, and then go from there.
The extremist left as predatory, because unfortunately a lot of you guys want to push this gender ideology BS onto children, and it's not.
No, that's not the problem. The problem is the way that they went about this. It's not the gender ideology that's the problem. It's the way they went about it. If you're being a fucking creep and you're saying, well, you don't know what's best for your kids, I do, then yeah, of course you're going to get the fucking middle finger from these people. Yeah, I agree with that part. What I don't agree is that it has anything to do with gender ideology. No, this is stupid.
It's not a good idea. Because what happens if a 5-year-old who's going to grow up to be a gay boy, right?
Most trans meds are cool. No, they're not, because they're trans meds.
You teach them that gender ideology
that disqualifies
is possible, that
them.
you can transition and be whatever gender you want at the age of 5 or 6. They hit the age of 12, your hormones are going fucking crazy. All you want is for, who you like to like you
Bad
back.
take, I disagree.
So a little gay boy, all they want is for straight men to like them. They're obsessed with femininity. They love feminine things. They love pink. So they instantly think, oh, I'm meant to be a woman. I can be a woman. That's what I was taught when I was 5 years old.
This is stupid. No, this is really dumb. What you tell kids is, look, what I'm going to tell my kids here, I'll tell you the way that I'm going to go about this with my kids, because I've thought about this. I'm going to gender them, and I'm going to, give them boys or girls names or androgynous names, whatever name I like, whatever. I'm going to go by the standard that society has set, because I don't want to fuck them and make them like unapproachable to other people, right? So I'm going to do that. But I'm also going to say, look, son, daughter, whatever, whatever the term is for non-binary child, my child. Listen, like, I've, just because you were born male, we've ascribed the gender of man or boy to you. But if you want to take on another moniker, another gender, that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. If you like dresses, you can wear a dress. And you can even wear a dress and still be a boy. There's nothing wrong with that either. And if you explain it to them this way, then I don't see the problem. I truly do not see the problem. You can say, look, you can be a boy, girl, non-binary, doesn't matter. You can wear whatever clothes you want and still be a boy or a girl or a non-binary. Doesn't matter. It's whatever you want it to be. So go nuts. Like, I just don't see the problem.
It's going to transition and be a trans woman. Combine that with woke culture telling parents they're abusive if they don't allow their children to transition. And it creates a really dangerous mix. It's going to make it so these kids are confused.
What's dangerous?
Their parents allow them to make medical transitions, and then they're going to grow into adults who have regrets. And we're going to see the repercussions of this in like 20 years. If we
see, they always like gesture at this regrets thing. And it's like, yeah, when they turn like 70, I guess, right? Like they'll regret it then, definitely, right? It's like, where are all these people with regrets? Like, there's some detransitioners who regret it. And I'm not saying they don't exist, but to the extent they do, they're very few and far between. And they'll never admit that. They're always just gesturing at like, oh, no, don't worry. The wave's coming, right? The wave's coming. No, it's not.
Keep going down this rabbit hole, that's where we're going to end up. We've already seen a bunch of people post.
And yeah, she did, by the way, transition as a kid, as I mentioned earlier. She's been on fucking hormone therapy since she was like 13 or some shit.
Videos talking about how they regret the decisions they made as minors. You don't think that's going to increase? But
no,
hey,
I don't.
We have the documented data, right? All these data studies they prove everything, right? We're going to be fine.
Yes.
We'll be fine.
What do you have? Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, your studies. Oh, your scientific studies. Yeah, what do you have? What? R/D trans? Why should I trust that bullshit? You can write literally anything on there. But anyway, the reason I brought her up mainly is so that I could brag about my sick ratio. So let's look at it. When someone looks at me, they automatically assume my pronouns are she, her because I made a physical transition. When someone looks at a non-binary person, they automatically assume your pronouns are that of your birth sex because you didn't make a transition. Even if that is true, like, I've gotten cis people's gender wrong before. It's not that big of a deal. Like, sometimes they'll make it a big deal and you gotta like traverse through that or whatever. But for the most part, you just say sorry, you correct yourself, you move on. This is just the way that it's always been, right? You see a woman, you mistake her for a man, she slaps you if she's, a bad person. But then ultimately you correct yourself, you move on, right? Yeah, so then I replied, like, Kelly, you're starting to sound obsessed. It's not healthy. Which she is. She makes posts like this all the fucking time. She got 214 likes on her post. I got 2.7K likes. So the thread continues. She says, I'm obsessed. I don't know who you are, yet you follow me closely enough to make such a claim. And to be clear, I've been following her ever since I heard about her. Not closely, mind you. I just hop on Twitter sometimes, more than I should, to be fair. But I just, I'll see her dumb shit takes pop up once in a while, and I got to respond. So I said, yes, you made a spectacle of yourself grifting for conservatives, then seemed to become a reasonable human, only for you to go transmedicalist and make posts all the time about how only trans women who pass are valid. It's gross and you should stop. I said, I've been trying to have a conversation with you for quite some time because I think you're reasonable, but it seems I can never get your attention. And yes, I have reached out to her on multiple platforms. I have tried to get her on stream to talk, or even in private to talk. Like, I just want to talk to her, right? Just figure some shit out. Now that I have it, I'll open that door again. I would love to chat on my live stream or privately. Let's just talk. She says the entitlement is unreal. And so I just reply, like, you can just say no, but that doesn't make your transmedicalist BS any better. And she says there's nothing wrong with transmedicalism. And I said, you're judging people based on how well they pass, quote unquote. There's plenty wrong with that. Why do you care so much about how other people look? Let me guess, you put tons of effort into passing, and then you see other trans women put in significantly less effort and still expect to be gendered correctly, and that makes you feel like they're taking shortcuts to achieve the same status as you. Am I in the ballpark? And I think I pretty much nailed it. I think I nailed it, personally. She has not yet replied to that, but honestly, that's what it feels like to me, is she put all this effort in, to make this trans thing happen for her, and she looks beautiful. She looks great. She looks great. She does. But, like, just because somebody doesn't look as great as you do subjectively, because that's subjective, right? Like, that, in your opinion, does not look as feminine or as great as you do as a woman, doesn't make their status as a woman less valid. And if you apply, by the way, if you apply that standard to to trans women, you have to apply it to cis women too. And I got into an argument with somebody about it because they think that women should shave. And they started by saying, well, if trans women don't shave, then they can't be expected to be referred to as women. And I said, okay, what about like cis women? Some cis women have to shave. Do you hold that standard for them too? And she said, yeah, I do. Okay. Well, as long as you're not singling out trans women, I really don't give a shit. Like, I still think it's a stupid thing to uphold, but at least she's not being transphobic, I guess. So, point being, like, this is just another type of grifting. It's a little bit different from Blair White's, in my opinion, but it stems from insecurity. She's being very insecure. There are ways to deal with insecurity, and this is not it. So I do hope she comes around and she tries to see the way that you see what she's doing wrong. Or at least reflect like she's reflected before, but I would really like her to do it again and really figure out like what the hell's going on, because she's insecure as hell and she's just not dealing with it appropriately. That's all. Catman just respects their opinions. I don't have to respect stupid opinions. And don't demand that of me. You can have a stupid opinion, don't expect, and I can disrespect it. Like, that's the trade-off. Cis women with things like PCOS can grow a good amount of facial hair. Yes. Exactly. And I've misgendered people before. Like, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Yeah, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean that it's automatically deserving of respect. I'm sorry. Not how that works. All right, I got to pee real quick. I'm going to put you guys on a quick ad break. Yes, we are doing a YouTube ad break, baby, as soon as I figure out how to. So, let me see. you choose to manually place ad breaks, try to place it natural breaks for best results. Yeah, I know that. Manual placement. Sign into YouTube Studio. Content monetization. Management roles. Well, I guess I should have figured this out, huh? Well, this is annoying. Sign into YouTube Studio. Content. Okay. A live stream. Monetization. Wait, why is it off? I turned this shit on. Location of video ads. Where the fuck is it limit? Okay, fuck it. Fuck it. I don't care anymore. No ad break. I'll be right back. I gotta pee. Okay, I returned. What's going on in chat? Oh, excuse me. Sharp has vibe change? Would you rather be a capybara or a squirrel? Probably a capybara. Big boys. Big. Oh yeah, somebody in the Discord wanted me to react to something. Hold on. We got content suggestions. Coach Dave. Why do I... Wait, I've heard of Coach Dave. Wait, Facebook. This is an hour long. No, sorry, I ain't watching an hour long live stream. Yes, my pee is in fact gone. Reduced to atoms. You ever got called Alex? Only every day. It's fine, I don't care. I tell people I don't care. I'll respond to it. I used to hate it. Back when I was a kid, I was very uppity about people calling me Alec with a C. Alec with the C. With the C, he told me. People be calling me Cartman. I can see that. It looks similar to Cartman. I kept thinking you were somebody else. There's somebody named Cat Boy. And I kept thinking you were that person. Now you meme your name for fun, yes. Thank you so much, Gayest Winston, for joining the early bird special. That reminds me. I have to do a reading real quick. A reading from the book of Genesis. No, not really. I have to do a... There it is. Very loud. No, I have to read...
Check Alex Gunther? Why, dude? He's baiting.
Thank you for subscribing,
I know who
Basil.
This is.
Okay. Let me do this real quick. just so you guys know what I'm about to do. If you pay $5 a month, you enter a tier that's called Mouthful Mode, and I make a weekly post that is only for $5 and up to comment on. And right now, I only have two $5 subscribers, only one of which is taking advantage of this. So, if you would like to take, would you please focus? Thank you. If you would like to take advantage of the Mouthful Mode benefits, you can subscribe for $5. Sorry, not subscribe. It's Twitch mode. You can join my channel membership for $5 a month to get Mouthful Mode. All right. Let me do it real quick. Okay, so for this week, we have a Mouthful Mode post that we must go over. So, Dat Boy Ryan Cole 670 says, the government of the state should never supersede the government of an individual's body. Support bodily autonomy. Right you are, Dat Boy. Thank you very much for that comment. If you would like to leave a if you would like to leave a comment for me to read before a YouTube video, you can join my channel membership for $5 a month. It starts at $1 a month, but the membership... Fuck, I need to redo all this. Hold on. Let me get my shit together. If you would like to leave a comment just like that person to be read at the beginning of a YouTube video, you can join my channel membership for $5 a month and leave a comment on the Mouthful Mode post that I make weekly. You could also instead join my $1 a month and forego that benefit, but you also get other sick benefits like early access to YouTube videos, as well as a sick badge next to your name and a custom emotes that you can use in the comments and in the live streams that I do here on YouTube. So if that sounds good to you, you can go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join for all these amazing benefits, and I would very much appreciate your patronage. Thank you. All right. That was pretty good. We'll have to cut out. We'll have to cut out a little bit, but you know. Yeah, give me money. Why do we have the Alec? Well, there are many reasons. Hold the Alec, pet the Alec, feed the Alec, forfeit all mortal possessions to the Alec. I have no idea who Alec is. Well, sounds like your loss. The Alec Bourgeois. Seems a little too practiced. Oh, I didn't practice it at all. I didn't feel quite appreciated enough. That wasn't yours. Stop whining. Stop whining. Whiners get the paddle. You want the paddle? I shouldn't ask that. I'm doing a leftist stream. I should not ask my chatters if they want the paddle. Hell yeah, we got another Mouthful Mode member, baby. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for joining the channel membership, P Surreal. Appreciate you. I will make my next post next Sunday. You can take advantage. Or sorry, this coming Sunday, I should say. And technically next Sunday, I guess. Sunday, okay. Sunday needs to be at the end of the week. I'm so fucking tired of calling it the weekend, and then Sunday's the first day of the week. That doesn't make any sense at all. It makes jack shit sense. And then I fuck up on my medical charting sometimes, because the way that the paper is laid out is such that, like, there's the first square is Sunday, right? And then it's still like physical. I have to write it for my medicine that I give out. And then every day after that is, so it starts at Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I go in on Monday, and then in my head I'm like, oh, well, this is the first day of the week, right? So of course I would write when I gave the medicine in the first box, right? No, actually, it turns out Sunday, despite being part of the week, the last day of the weekend, is in fact the first day of the next week. Now tell me why the fuck that makes sense. Bullshit. Because it's the day of the sun. The sun can kiss my ass. Wait, did I post this Tuttle Twins thing? For those who weren't here earlier, gaze upon my masterpiece. Okay, I think this is pretty good personally. I want to see this death battle. Did I? Hold on, I need to. Did I post this? Yeah, I posted it. Okay, good. Honestly, that's one for the ages. Just saying. The Tuttle Twins have toon power? No, they're not. No, they don't. Like, they have, like, their grandma. They can deploy the grandma. But then the Hodge twins can just, like, be annoying. So it's, you know, equal power levels. A fair fight. Moon Day. I know that the days of the week are named after, like, I think Saturday is named after Saturn, right? They're named after, like, Roman gods. I could be wrong about that. DMing you on Twitter? Why Twitter? I've been following you for 2 years, but you've gone woke recently. Oh shit, did I say that out loud? I wasn't supposed to leak DMs. Well, thanks for the DM. Roman and Norse, I think Thursday being Thor and Friday Freya. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. My Laura's will be in contact. Okay. Tell them I said hi. Oh no, wait, they'll be in contact, so I'll tell them hi myself. All right, I got one more video I want to react to. All right, being polite is a nice thing to do. I like it when people are polite, when you chew with your mouth closed, when you say hi, when you're walking by somebody on the street, when you hold the door for them, all that good stuff, right? Being polite's a good thing to do. I like being polite. I like it when other people are polite to me, for the most part. I think there are some traditions that are a little bit stupid that we consider polite, like saying bless you after somebody sneezes. I think that's pretty dumb personally. I don't think that's a polite thing to do. I just think that's like a very weird, rooted in tradition kind of thing that we do. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, is my point. All that being the case, you may remember the homeless video that we did recently on Wisecrack and their take on homelessness and what we should do about it. Well, they got another banger for us, folks. Politeness is a Trap by Wisecrack. I'm sure this will go just as well as the last one. So let's see what Wisecrack has. You know what? Maybe I'll be surprised. Let's see what Wisecrack has for us today. Let's see what they think about it.
Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, dear viewer, and thanks for tuning in to today's discussion on the topic of politeness. Now, you might be surprised to hear us covering a topic.
Okay. Now we're in the mood. Is this loud enough, by the way? I think it's loud enough.
Last discussed by your grandmother when she told you not to chew with your mouth open. She's right, by the way. But rest assured, politeness is still relevant today,
gross as fuck.
even on
Don't
the
do it.
famously impolite terrain of the internet. Indeed, politeness holds the fabric of society together.
I
Provides
think I sped this up. Hold on. Yeah, I want
a roadmap for navigating social interactions and ensures that I don't drop a deuce on my boss's desk. In our society, politeness is a virtue, or at least it usually appears that way. However, a recent push in the Senate to establish a dress code, because that's the main thing they should be worried.
That's Fetterman, right? Fuck this guy. Put on a suit. We're bored of the shtick. Stop it.
About made us wonder, are we too obsessed with politeness? Is it a necessary bedrock of society, or is it a tool for rich people to sartorially oppress
Do not say please and thank you. It's a scam. True.
Working class while distracting from larger issues? And is being polite more important than being principled? Well, today we're going to find out in this video on the sinister side of politeness. Won't you join me? Now, politeness is a relatively modern concept. In early Western civilization, rulers established dominance.
I think that depends on your definition of polite. Like, there's always been norms in society that are not upheld by laws. That's basically what politeness is, right? Norms that we hold that are not upheld legally. So, like putting your grocery cart back. Not putting it back is considered rude. It's not against the law, but it is the polite thing to do to put it back. Not flushing the toilet. Once again, not against the law, but considered rude to do. It's things that we don't like that are nonetheless not illegal to do. Right? I think that's basically what constitutes what's polite and what's not.
Strict hierarchies and the threat that anyone who looked at them funny would get beheaded. Because they believed their power was ordained by God and were treated as such, rulers didn't feel any pressure to be tender to their subjects. Cut to late 17th century colonial America, where people were tired of being treated like dog. The British imperial government reacted to the colony's request for more humane treatment with stricter rules and harsher punishments.
Wow.
Like branding, whipping posts, and ear cropping. I don't know what ear cropping is. I will not Google it because I don't want to see images, but I'm sure it's real bad. Do not let me know in the comments. I do not want to know. Colonists fought back by getting plastered and shouting, In 1670,
Dubsy, mute that shit. My live stream's fucked. Thank you.
1976, Bacon's rebellion saw insurgents drive Virginia's governor out of the capital before burning it down. 12 years later, Massachusetts leaders imprisoned their governor for 10 months before punting him over to England for trial.
Then again, my last Wisecrack video was not demonetized or anything, so maybe it's, yeah, YouTube ain't gonna take that, yeah. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe Wisecrack has the system down, so to speak. That's a completely different band, but I don't know. The pun worked in my head.
These conflicts convinced elites to really look inwards and ask, guys, how can we do better? No, of course they didn't ask that. Their question was, how do we stay in power when public stocks and other torture methods stop working? American leaders, when considering the nature of power, turned to the ideas of the British political party, the Whigs, who opposed absolute monarchy.
Of course they were called the fucking Whigs. I forgot that was a thing.
Thinkers like John Locke and Algernon
We gotta name our party after a distinguishing characteristic. Huh. Wonder what it could be.
Argued that a ruler's power stems from fostering a good relationship with their subjects. The 3rd Earl of Shaftesbury, a student of Locke,
they didn't all wear wigs, I'm just being funny,
insisted that politeness was a moral issue and that a decent person should care about the common good and be pleasant to be around. Discussions about governing increasingly praised restraint and exercises of power, keeping public executions to a minimum and at least pretending to care about peasant
that's
problems.
polite. When you as the king say, you know what, let's limit the public executions this year to like maybe 50, 60 on a bad year, but 50 max. I think that, you know, you're doing pretty good.
Now, by the 18th century, governing became all about the 3 Ps: politics, power, and politeness. Hey, let me know in the comments what you think the 4th P should be. Using polite language.
Power. Wait, was P already? Oh yeah, it was P. Okay, yeah, power was already there. I can piss. There you go. Good.
Hey, let me know in the comments what you think the 4th P should be. Using polite language was essential to being taken seriously and was used to gatekeep political power. Now, politeness indicated that one had a discipline of self worthy of the power to discipline others. Obedience was no longer a because God said so situation. It had to be earned, in part through being nice. Ben Franklin thought that fostering goodwill by being approachable, warm, and charming was more useful than brute force.
I don't care what Jim says. That is not the real Ben Franklin. I am 99% sure.
Politeness was
honestly, they've kind of got the system down where it's like the clips that they use are just short enough that they won't get demonetized. Like they have to be making money off of this shit, right? So I think that they just have like down to the fucking decimal how many seconds of footage they can use, and then they just like grab media from all over the place to use. Honestly, kind of smart.
Colonists' counter-reaction to the monarchy. In its nascent form, it curbed excesses of power and tyranny by making it uncool to lose your shit and throw chairs. So they would have hated wrestling.
Throwing chairs is one of those few things that is both rude and can also be illegal if done correctly.
The advent of politeness
correctly throwing a chair will get you in jail.
From the elites to the people. It mostly made the powerful seem less scary, like someone that you'd want to grab an ale with. Now, colonial elites used polite society to distance themselves from the common people, both physically through memberships to club rooms and great houses, and culturally by rejecting popular language, ideas, and even the act of humming, which was considered not classy.
God. What the hell did they do to this child? This is just sad, man. It really is. People, here's the thing, right? Just a brief tangent. People always think that, like, if you were royalty, that you had, like, everything handed to you, which in many ways is and was true. But also remember, those royal pieces of shit will have, like, they'll spit out children, and then they will abuse the fuck out of those children, okay? Don't, make no mistake about it. Those kids were reamed growing up. Like, they couldn't do jack shit that they wanted to do. They were just groomed. They were literally groomed into being like the next, like, they're miserable pieces of shit, all of them. They're so miserable because from their childhood, they were just told, this is your purpose, right? That's why I hate this shit.
Classy. I'm fine with that. I don't think you should hum. I think it's annoying. Why hum when you can sing? As the modern state emerged,
I can't
political
sing.
authority was vested in public institutions rather
whistle.
than the monarchy. Wealthy businessmen suddenly had influence on policy and public affairs. Thank God for the wealthy businessmen for bringing us where we are today and telling us that weapon stocks are in a good place.
True.
Invest in weapons.
I like this
Politeness
guy.
became a soft form of power that acted like a verbal and behavioral passport, giving elites.
This is a pretty good video so far. I'm surprised. Judging by the last Wisecrack video, I really thought this would be more liberal bullshit, but I like this.
Social, cultural, and political credibility, and gaining them admission into the cool kids country club. Now, obviously, the filthy, unwashed masses were not included, but the elites believed they knew what was best for the public, better than the public itself.
I basically said, maybe you'll agree with me, that politeness, something that's rude is basically anything that is not technically illegal, but we still don't like it when you do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like farting in an open room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, I came down here to say two things. First of all, I don't know if you knew this. I didn't know this until literally right this second. Today is Zoro's birthday.
Yo, happy
So
birthday,
happy
Zorro.
birthday.
Happy birthday to my moss-headed friend
Happy
who
birthday.
may or may not know that it's his birthday.
It's his birthday. So, but I was thinking about it, and I thought to myself, okay, so I was like, wait, what sign does that make Zorro? Because I'm such an astrology bitch, and I was like, he's a Scorpio, and I put in my head, I was like, he's not a Libra, because we're past that point, because my mom's a Libra, and she's close to the end of the Libra season, so I know she's a Libra, so he can't be one, because today is November the 10th. And then I thought to myself, oh, he's a Scorpio, and then I was like, there are so many anime men that I'm attracted to that are Scorpios. It's ridiculous. I have such a type. And you know what else? I think somebody can look this up and correct me on this if I'm wrong. I think Sanji's birthday is somewhere in the Pisces season. So if you ship that, that's like a Scorpio Pisces pairing, which is prime content. Prime content. Okay, that's what I came down here to say. Completely off topic of what you were doing. Thank you for letting me ramble at everybody.
Mm-hmm. That was Katie, everybody. It's
Did
not.
you eat the pasta I made last night?
I've not tried it yet, but I will.
Ooh,
I will.
I think I did a very good job.
That was Katie. You can also call her Mrs. Gunter if you'd like.
Oh my god.
Y'all are adorable. Thank you. I know. I try.
They were the voice of the people, a voice that sounded like
rich mahogany.
By building affection and loyalty through the performance of sensitivity and concern, leaders used politeness as a free pass.
Is the Katie emote on here? Is Hug on here? That's a good question. I gotta check that. Remind me later.
To respond to their constituents' discontents with a hand pat and I see you,
I think so.
I hear you, all while doing absolutely
that
nothing. Today, politeness remains ingrained in our culture. It's used to gatekeep social class. People at the highest strata of society are raised within this culture, while the rest of us flounder.
I should also mention, he's bringing up a really good point. Politeness is not just things that we don't like that are not illegal. It's things that certain classes of people don't like that are not illegal. Like, let's put it this way. There's universally agreed upon things that are rude to do, like closing the door in someone's face. Rude to do. Don't do it. You're an asshole if you do that. Not illegal, but don't do it. But like, think about conservatives love talking about black people having their pants hanging low, right? Oh, like I like black people, but the ones with their pants down low, those are the ones that I don't like, right? Where it's like, yeah, you can see their underwear, but you can't see any revealing content there, so whatever. But it's considered rude to have your pants that low, yes? For a while, I believe that it was considered rude for black girls to have like frizzy hair, right? Or even black men, I think. And so they would like fucking torture them to like get their hair straight, you know? So like there are elements of that are completely rooted in racism, not just racism, but also classism. But I think so that may be what it stems from. But I do agree with a base level of etiquette, right? Like having your pants low, like I don't fucking care. Why would I care if your pants are low? It just does not bother me. I don't care. But like, don't fart when you're sitting next to me, you know? Like, hold that shit in. Literally.
Formal dinners and accidentally use the little fork for our steak.
Shrimp fork?
Salad fork.
Isn't it literally considered impolite in some places in Asia to correct someone in higher social standing to you when they say something's wrong? Something wrong? I actually don't know. I don't know. It could be. They have to pass anti-discrimination laws about black hair. It's so fucked, man.
Dinner fork.
So why does cutlery at a dinner table inspire such anxiety and panic? Because we understand what it says about us, chiefly whether or not we even deserve a seat at the table. Our social identities dictate what is considered polite behavior. Gender, ethnicity, class, religion, culture, and language all help define the rules for how we are expected to act. On top of that, rules of decorum differ depending on who you are.
Yeah, it is fucking up the trans flag there. That sucks.
Where you are, and who you're talking to. So does your
That's also
perceived
true.
social status. You might be the king.
Which country is it that it's actually polite to burp after your meal? Because that's like compliments to the chef. Is that France? I'm pretty sure it's France.
Of the improv group, but when you're with your partner's medical colleagues, you're now at the bottom of the social ladder because all they want to talk about is saving lives. Ugh. But what if you could wipe your social identity from the equation? Would we act more civil if the playing field was leveled? Well, the internet sought to do just that by allowing everyone the opportunity to operate in anonymity. Social media has become the central place we congregate to discuss politics and other societal issues. But politeness and its kissing cousin, civility, were seemingly left out of the code.
Oh,
sure,
geez.
we have some standards. of
Really
digital
going for the
politeness,
gut
right?
punch.
Like if you leave a period at the end of a sentence, it means you're mad at someone. And if you respond to anything with a K or a thumbs up, you're being openly hostile. But a lot of people...
Yeah, the period thing, like in texts, is very weird to me. Like sometimes I feel like I have to leave one, but then other times I'm like, no. Like I'll literally write the period and then I'll erase it because I'm like, no, that sounds too formal if I do it that way. Like I'll even do that in tweets sometimes. It's very odd, but punctuation is very important.
Take anonymity as free reign to act like an asshole without any repercussions. If you've ever peeped the comments of a YouTube video, you know that anonymous users are apt to say,
yeah, don't even get me started on my fucking comments. Jesus.
Rudest you've ever heard. And I have found in my own personal experience.
I want to say real quick, and he may actually say this in just a second, but when you're talking to somebody over text or even over the phone, like voice chat, not as often over the phone, but like over text especially, like Twitter, Facebook, especially if it's somebody you don't know and you have no clue what they look like, you are much more likely to be an asshole to that person. Far more likely. And I'm guilty of this as well. Same if you're driving. Like if you're more likely to honk at somebody for like 10 seconds straight if they're going like, you know, the speed limit 60 on a 60. Because you want to go faster, so like you honk at them and just hold that shit until they get uncomfortable enough to move to another lane. You're more likely to do that than you are to like go up to somebody in person and be like, "You, sir, were in front of me, and you were being slow by going the speed limit in front of me, and I demand that you answer for that." Like when it's in person, like when you can see somebody's face. You're a lot less likely to be an asshole like that, which is interesting and, you know, also makes sense. And that's why I hate driving culture. Anyway.
Sometimes if someone says something really mean about me, I'll respond. Not in a
go
mean way,
5 over,
be
you
like,
asshole.
Hey, I'm a person. You know, I might not really think that, or that's not very nice to say. And so often people...
Or you can just change lanes. I despise passing people on the right. I hate it. Because it makes me feel like the asshole. And I mind being the asshole if I'm passing somebody on the right and there's somebody on the left who's going 55 miles an hour in a 70 and I got to pass on the right because they can't fucking get over in the lane that they're supposed to be in anyway. I'm not the asshole.
Immediately turn around and we'll get nice, especially with DMs. Because sometimes some of you send me kind of mean DMs. But if I ever respond, you get really nice. So conversely, when users engage with each other in individual one-on-one interactions, they're way more likely to be nice and even send the occasional cute puppy meme. If you want to send me one, I like Australia.
I have been learning lately, though, especially over text. No, actually, especially over voice, to be a little bit more of an asshole to people that I disagree with. This is a very difficult skill, like to be an asshole, like appropriately with people that you disagree with, because people have an inclination to be polite They're taught to be polite. They're taught not to be mean, etc., whatever. But when you're dealing with somebody whose beliefs and views are so opposite to your own that they are actually detrimental to society, it is very important to know how to be critical of that person in an incisive way. Like, you can't be polite when dealing with assholes like a forced birther. You know, at first, yes, you have to, because that's the standard. You have to be polite at first. But once they start opening up and revealing that, yes, they are in fact okay with 13-year-old sexual assault victims getting, you know, being forced to carry their babies to term, then you can start being an asshole, because that's a shit thing to believe, right? I'm just saying.
Shepherds a lot. Thank you. Still, given the widespread absence
know how to do
of
that.
real social accountability, the
least when
internet has
you're in
become
my
a place
field.
where rules of politeness just don't apply. And a lot of us don't like that. Per a recent survey by Boston University
By the way,
researchers-
he's not going to bring up driving at all. And I feel like driving is so important to mention in this, because people are assholes on the road. Let me tell you guys a story real quick. Very quick story. So I was actually driving to work one day, and I made an oopsie doopsie because I was waiting behind somebody, and the light was green, and they were you know, it was a left turn. So I was waiting behind this person at a left turn. The light's green. He doesn't go. It's like 5 seconds. He doesn't go. Okay, I don't get why. So I give my horn a little air, right? Just a little honk, just a little tiny one, just to tell him, hey, come on, buddy. Like, if you're on your phone, it's time to go, right? Turns out I didn't hear that there was an ambulance coming by. So that guy was not doing anything wrong by waiting. He was actually completely correct to wait because there was an ambulance coming by. And so I fucked up, right? I told him to go, and there was an ambulance coming, and I didn't hear it. Well, that guy goes after the ambulance is gone, and then he sticks his middle finger out the window. Here, just like this. Just like this. For like 10 seconds. Right? And I'm like, dude, I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I was just like, I didn't know if you were on your phone. Like, come on. Like, we all get on our phones at the red light. Don't pretend like you don't, you know? Like, come on. I was trying to tell you to go. That's all. And then what's funny is the kicker is that, like, we both ended up going to the gas station that was like a minute away. And we both got out of our car and just did not. I looked at that bitch, actually. I looked at him. I was like, you were an asshole. But he didn't look at me. So it's just very awkward and very funny. Anyway.
68% of U.S. respondents identified online
So
incivility
close.
as a major problem. Nearly all respondents agreed that side effects of online incivility include cyberbullying, harassment, violence and hate crimes, intimidation and threats, intolerance, and people feeling less safe in public
Doxing.
places. As if that's not bad enough, mean-spirited online discourse has led to increased political polarization. When someone you disagree...
Wait, why are these people sitting together if they just look so unhappy with each other? Why? A group of people this big does not fight like this.
Mean-spirited online discourse has led to increased political polarization. When someone you disagree with calls you a dumbass, it's really easy to take it as evidence that the opposition is just full of rude, untrustworthy monsters.
I've been there, man.
We have a hard time separating an asshole from the whole body. Sure, we could avoid this by just putting down our phones for a bit, but what would life be like without internet-induced rage and anxiety? Alternatively, maybe we could just stop engaging with toxic comments. Well, maybe you can, but I can never look away.
No, he's got a great point here. One of the greatest tricks that I ever learned is knowing how to use the block button. Because here's the thing. I used to be a very insecure person, and in many ways I still am. But you know the ultimate move that you can do to show somebody that you are not insecure at all? Just block them. Just block them. You don't have to prove yourself to them. You don't have to make your fucking point. Somebody calls you an incel and you happen to have a girlfriend. Okay. Like, I used to take pictures of me with my girlfriend so that I could, like, show people, like, well, I only did this once. I'm not that pathetic, but I've only done this once, where I, like, took a picture with my then girlfriend, now fiance, to prove that, like, I had a girlfriend. And that's pathetic. Don't do that. You know? Just block them.
It's like a million car
Or
crashes
ignore 'em.
happening all the time, 24/7. And even if we could, as the Boston University researchers observed, the mere presence of uncivil comments on a news article influences readers' overall perception of its content, which is a bad way to judge the legitimacy of what you read. Now, in a similar...
I'm no stranger to this. I'm not innocent of, like, seeing comments and then being influenced by them to think differently about the content that I'm consuming. You know what I mean? We're all guilty of this. And the moment that I realized that, the moment I started to like change that a little bit and start looking at things more objectively. So we're all victims of like being influenced by comments like that.
Similar vein, the study also found that our biases skyrocket when we're exposed to rudeness. Reading someone's f***ed up comment makes our brains just shut down. And it's impossible to process information when all we see is red. The power of randos on the internet to immobilize our information processing sucks even harder because many of the worst actors on social media are bots. People's political perspectives are being shaped by Weedlord420 at Telegram, hit me up, deplug 6946, the Russian Dogfather OG, Joe Biden eat butt 420, at Dianne Feinstein's ghost 42069 lick it, Jesus' shaved penis 420.
How many fucking usernames still have like 42069? I'm sorry, that's more of a meme than anything at this point.
69. Our social reliance on evaluating people based on their politeness is so strong that without it, we completely lose our ability to think rationally or assess the validity of an argument.
Anymore, like the shittiest comments you get are from like John Mullins 6420138. You know, like that's the Twitter handle of like the worst comment you'll get all year.
When it comes to politeness, we can't live with it and we can't live without it. Now, on the one hand, civility is objectively a good thing. But on the other, polite society was engineered by elites to justify why they deserved and could be trusted with power. But on an even more insidious level, politeness and civility are still used as a form of control. It's a way to keep social undesirables down
I can see that.
while ensuring they don't disrupt the status quo with things like protests. A huge social faux pas to those in power. And you notice that a protest is rude or bad or inappropriate whenever it directly contradicts with the interest of those in power. Who would have thought? In America, our expectations for offline politeness often make us focus more on civility than on what's actually being said. When NFL
I feel bad because I agree with most of this video. I was kind of expecting this to be another liberal clusterfuck, but I guess there are things that liberals believe that we also believe, you know? Like, even being a filthy liberal, you can still have pretty based beliefs, at least to a greater extent than conservatives ever will, because they have none. They just hate everything. But liberals, at least, like, this is why it's so important to appeal to liberals, because if you actually look at them and, like, ask them the things that they believe, they'll agree with you on most everything. Even some conservatives will. They'll agree with you on almost everything. You just have to know how to package your information effectively and like give it to them so that they end up falling on the same side as you on pretty much every issue. You know what I mean? Where did the sailor hat come from? I don't know.
Colin Kaepernick began to kneel during the national anthem in protest of racial and social injustice. Then President Donald Trump called it a total disrespect of our heritage.
Total disrespect.
He's fired. Side note, people in other countries, do you all do the national anthem for every sporting event? Not ours, your national anthem. That seems weird.
Hey, Hot Bear Dad, how you doing?
To play sports, we have to praise America. I don't know. It just feels weird. Now, it's worth noting that Kaepernick's act of supposed impoliteness rendered him unemployable by the NFL. Meanwhile, Tommy Tuberville can go on a racist rant and still keep his Senate seat. When you're protesting police violence in America, why is it on you to be the nice one? Especially when people in power are not held to the same standards.
By the way, they're being incredibly nice by like not being violent. You know, like the shit that police do, I would not get on somebody's case for acting out violently. You know what I mean? I'm not condoning violence. I'm just saying I would understand it. But these protests are typically very peaceful, and then police respond by dropping fucking tear gas on them.
Recently put it, when civility leads to death, revolting is the only logical reaction. Now, sometimes incivility is necessary to highlight injustice and fight against it, especially when all other options have been exhausted. Consider the time former White House press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked to leave a restaurant for supporting Trump's anti-trans politics. Similarly, a Fox News correspondent was asked to leave a restaurant for saying degrading things about women and using eugenics to contextualize the debate around Roe versus Wade. Now, sure, telling someone to get lost isn't technically...
No, listen. I know that you disagree with me on abortion, but have I explained eugenics to you yet? You'll believe me, this will explain everything.
polite, but neither is supporting policies that hurt
This'll
already
convince you.
marginalized groups. When we focus on etiquette, it's often a thinly veiled way to protect people in power from having to feel bummed out or being made accountable for how they vote. This distracts from the bigger issues. Now, it would certainly be easier if the ungrateful masses didn't complain about the systemic injustices that keep the upper echelon in power.
Oh, so much easier
On the
indeed.
political stage, the request for civility feels more like a demand for compliance, especially when those at the top seem to be exempt from the rules of politeness that they accuse everyone else of not following.
He said he was going to ask a very simple, easy question. And it's not. It's not a simple question, not a fair question. Okay, sit down.
This all brings me to tone policing, i.e., it's not what you say.
I was in a weird spot when it came to eugenics. I knew it was bad, but I couldn't explain why at the time. It's because you're fucking around with like actual human beings. You're basically telling people like, you know, you have good traits, therefore you should breed with people who have these other good traits. Like at the end of the day, you can technically call like genetic modifications before somebody's born eugenics, quote unquote, but that term is correctly negatively associated with, experimentation against people's will, and just like barbarism, because like basically what you're saying, like you want to like breed people like you breed dogs, and that's disgusting. If you want to improve somebody's genetics while they're in an embryonic form, I don't have any problem with that because it's already a roll of the dice. So anything that you do to them that improves their circumstances is fine by me. Now, if you purposefully give a fetus cancer, then yeah, that's fucking terrible. The cancer gene. Oh, we're going to insert the cancer gene for research purposes. Yeah, fuck that. But if you're going to say like, listen, like in some weird future, like your fetus is healthy, but we're going to make it even healthier by extending their life by a year with this gene that we've isolated. Why the fuck would you not do that? That's silly. That's very silly. It is a stained term. So even if that, like what I just said, if that's literally eugenics, which it is, calling it eugenics is the connotation there is very negative. So I would instead of refer to that as like gene modification. Genetic modification. So yeah, it's, like eugenics is bad in the colloquial sense that we don't want to take away people's individual rights as to who they can quote unquote breed with. You know what I mean?
It's how you say it. This insistence on having decorum is used to distract from
treating things like color blindness. I think that's fine. Like seeing more colors is not a bad thing.
Actually listening and emotionally engaging with people. And it's most often used to discredit women and minorities who are trying to voice their observations and opinions. Marginalized communities experience the brunt of social injustice, including impoliteness, but are also under the highest expectations to act politely.
America would also be more safe in a situation in which all of our constitutional rights are protected. This is the way our scheme works. This is how the Constitution that we all love operates.
Meanwhile, waspy dudes can scream and cry all they want and still be treated with respect.
This is a circus.
This all goes back to the fact that politeness is hierarchical. There are those who have the privilege.
That is true. The point that he brought up just then is very good because he's basically saying that like he's touching on civility politics, right? And I think it's good to point that out. Like you can say whatever the fuck you want as long as you're civil about it, Like take pro-lifers, aka forced birthers, for example, right? They can say, oh yeah, no, 13-year-old sexual assault victims should definitely have to give birth to the child of their sexual assaulter, right? But if you say it like that, then nobody listens to you. You have to package it politely, right? Like, oh, well, I actually believe in the sanctity of all life. So that's why I believe that, yeah, that's how you package that. But he's right. No, he's absolutely right. Like, you can be polite and still be a fucking horrible person.
To be impolite, and others who must be polite to command even a modicum of respect. And of course,
you want reverse colorblindness treatment? No, okay. So are you asking me if I believe that people should be allowed to like give up their color, their perception of color? that's a complicated question. Like if somebody were really like, yeah, I just hate not being colorblind and I'm, like that would be a very interesting and intricate situation in the medical field. You basically have to weigh out the positives and the negatives of like taking away that person's perception of color. If color is legitimately causing them stress in their life, like the perception of color is just too much for them, then maybe there's an argument to be made there. But if they're just saying like I want to experience color blindness, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to experience it. But taking away somebody's color perception permanently, that's a bit drastic, no? Like that, like I feel like unless their like life is on the line, they're literally like, no, colors are too much for me. I'm going to KMS if I don't like get my color things removed. Unless they do that, then no. Why would you do that? Like that's silly.
Groups is very predictable. This is not to say that civility and politeness are all bad. On the contrary, many scholars and most generally decent people agree that being good to each other is ideal. Take it from me, I love niceness, I love smiling, I love saying hi to people, I love holding doors open. I think that people, to be honest, in Los Angeles are not very nice in that way. I wish they were more polite in that way. So what this video is really about is fellow residents of Los Angeles, let's just be nice.
My brief time in Los Angeles, I thought people were nice. That's just me. I mean, I was only there for 2 days, so.
Each other, act like you're, I don't know, in Wisconsin or something, and just smile and eat cheese curds. But demanding politeness for the specific purpose of quieting marginalized voices becomes a problem. While civility and politeness are worth striving for, they have historically been weaponized by an elite strata to delegitimize the voices of the common folk. Those unruly peasants who might disrupt traffic with a march or kick someone out of the restaurant or, hey, maybe throw some tomatoes at a painting. Who gets to be treated politely is contingent on a multitude of social variables.
That's another thing I got to talk about soon is that painting shit, because there was another one that came up recently. And just to say that I just want to say that I do support them. I do support what they're doing. Uncritically. I think that they're doing a good thing, by the way, just so you know. We'll talk about it at some point.
It's the most marginalized in society who are expected to be polite, but not to expect politeness. This can squash legitimate civil disobedience and hinder change that would improve people's lives, which feels like
this shit is another thing I gotta talk about. There was somebody who fucking just shot like a street protester for global warming or climate change or whatever. And that is insane. That's insane. Like, I'm sorry, but I know that you might be late to work or whatever, but it is not worth fucking killing somebody to get to work on time. Like, you're not that cucked. Sorry. Even I, as a nurse, right? It is very important that I show up to my job on time. Okay? But even I would be like, okay, I'll just call and tell them that I'm going to be late and I had to take a detour because people were protesting. It's annoying. Don't get me wrong. Like, if I ran into these people, I'd be fucking pissed. I'd be annoyed. I'd be like, you got to be shitting me. Like, I'm literally late for work already. Like, you got to be shitting me. But you know what the reasonable response is? Find another route. Okay? Find a way out of that fucking traffic. I know that it sucks, but, there's really not a whole lot you can do here. You just got to call your work and be like, sorry, I got caught in traffic. There were protesters. It's not your fault. Don't fucking kill them. Like, come on, man. If anything, just explain to them, like, listen, I understand what you're doing and I agree with your cause. I'm a nurse. I have to get to my job. Please. I'm begging you. Reason with them. They're fucking people. Fucking reason with them.
High price to pay for a little decorum. But hey, what do you common folk think? Can we strike a healthy balance between striving for civility and addressing systemic injustice, or should we just give up and give politeness the finger? Let me know what you think in the comments, and let's be super polite about it. Thank you to the very polite community of our patrons. We like you a lot.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I didn't really disagree with a whole lot on that one. So they've pretty much redeemed themselves, I think. Why it seems like Wisecrack is like a very liberal channel that a lot of their stuff I'd probably disagree with, but it's not like they're completely made of bad takes, so whatever. Their homeless thing was just so grating because the one issue that they focused on was like, well, we don't want to call them homeless people. We have to call them houseless, right? And it's like, I guess, like there were some people who were like telling me that like, no, she was right about that. But then I'm like, okay, even if she was right about that, and we start calling them houseless people or unhoused people, that's not addressing the root problem. The root problem is that they don't have fucking houses. So whatever you call them, maybe we should just give them houses, right? But yeah, it seems like that was a bad first impression I had of Wisecrack. I guess they have mostly good content, it seems like. Although there was one bad and one good, so maybe it's 50-50. But if another one strikes my interest, we'll give them another chance and see how they do. House deprived. Yeah, and also like in that video, I want to point out like they were literally like, "Oh, it's a temporary circumstance." No, the fuck, it's not. Not if you don't fix it. It's not fucking temporary unless you fix it. Oh man, that was a good one. Oh, I felt that one in my fucking soul, dude. Oh. That was the last of the Christianity leaving my body, finally. Okay, I gotta pee again, and I'm not fucking with ads, so I will be right back. All right. Excuse me. I'm gonna go play with my cat, so I'll see you next, bull chat. Your cat's not as important as me, but okay. I take that back. Every cat is more important than I am. I love cats. My fiance really did turn me into a fucking cat girl. I'll never forgive her. Excuse me. Alec has been promoted to Reddit atheist. Oh yeah, the Christianity leaving my body. Sorry if you couldn't tell, I am a little tipsy. I feel like I do this a lot. I should probably do it less often, but it's fun. My fiance sent me a message. Sanji is a Pisces. Oh my god, I called his ass. Okay. It's a One Piece reference for those who don't know. Sanji is a disgusting creature that we love and appreciate. Disgusting, though. Flawless just went live. Oh, they're watching the Ethan Klein versus Hassan Piker debate. I don't know. I opened that and I was like immediately uncomfortable because I know that there's like tension between those two, and like I do not want to get involved. I don't. I just don't. I feel like I've been feeling lately like there's a lot of infighting going on in the leftist space right now with the Palestinian conflict going on. And I don't want to get involved, man. It's not my thing. Like, Hassan has said some sussy shit. Excuse me. Hassan has said some very sussy shit. I know that he's in bed with fucking, Second Thought, who has said very sussy shit. But I do like Hassan. And so, like, I don't want to not like him, you know? But also, Ethan has kind of been leaning toward, you know, I don't think that he is pro-IDF. But some of his rhetoric lately has been kind of leaning toward pro-IDF propaganda. And so, like, I don't want to get involved, you know? Like, everyone sucks in this situation. Everyone sucks, is my point. I'm the only person who does not suck. As Katie will tell you, I'm the only person that does not suck, right, babe?
Baby.
What?
I need you to pull up the last TikTok I sent you. I think everyone will think it's hilarious.
Well, I saw the DM you sent me.
Which one?
It's Sanji's a Pisces. What's this?
Oh yeah. This you'll see. It's very good.
Okay.
They really got the Marines coming to Anime NYC. If you're a Soga King cosplayer or a One Piece cosplayer, you guys have the opportunity to do the funniest thing possible. Please take it.
Wait, what?
The Marines are going to a con, and they're going to Anime NYC apparently.
Oh,
they really got the Marines coming to Anime NYC. If you're a Soga King cosplayer or a One Piece cosplayer, you guys have the opportunity to do the funniest thing possible. Please take it.
Shoot down that flag, baby.
Woo!
That's right.
Yep.
Well, there you go. If you're in New York City, there you go.
Have fun. Anyway, I gotta go.
Thank you for that.
Yep, no problem.
For those who are not One Piece fans, the joke is that the Navy is like the bad guys, basically. It's way more complicated, but basically the Navy's the bad guys. Pirates are the good guys, Navies are the bad guys. Like I said, way more complicated, but just if you've never seen One Piece, just understand that that's kind of how it works. Dear conservative public office hopefuls, please listen to Matt Walsh when you release your platforms. True, please. Listen to Matt Walsh. honestly, the more Republicans that take on like the mantle that abortion should never, ever, ever be legal, the better it is for us, because like they're crazy, right? But they're shooting themselves in the foot because most people believe that abortion should be allowed. It'd be a lot more difficult if they were running on like trans women shouldn't be allowed to compete in sports. And I do believe that trans women should be allowed to compete in women's sports because they're women. And that's only fair. But it's a lot easier to get normies on that because they have most people have a built-in sense of wanting things to be fair. And so it's easy to trick people into thinking that if you're a trans woman, the playing field is unbalanced in your favor. It's easy. So if they just ran on that, they'd win. Unfortunately for them, though, most people don't give a shit about sports in general, let alone women's sports. Which sucks because women are people and they deserve recognition. And if women are succeeding in sports, they deserve that fucking recognition. But like, I don't care about sports, period. I don't fucking know like anything about like even the sport that I played, football. I don't know jack shit about it. The only thing I know is how it works, how people play it, how like the rules of the game. But I don't know the people involved. I don't know the fucking teams. I don't give a shit. So if you're not going to give a shit about sports, at least be consistent and don't give a shit about either gender. I think my dad tried to id pull me. My dad thinks you can't both support moms and families and legalize abortion. Legalizing abortion, okay. In order to bring pro-life people to your side, you have to make them understand that you can be pro-life and pro-abortion. You can be pro-life and pro-choice at the same time. You cannot be forced birth and pro-choice at the same time, but you can be pro-life and pro-choice at the same time. And I'll tell you how. Ready? If you are pro-life, that means that you want to minimize the number of abortions because you believe that the fetus is a human being. I have people in my family that believe that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, it's a philosophical/religious conviction that people are allowed to have. You believe that the fetus is a human being. That's fine. What's not fine is forcing women into decisions, into carrying human beings that they do not want to carry. Right? So you want to minimize the number of abortions. That's the end goal for pro-lifers. Their supposed end goal. If that's really their end goal, then they'll listen to what you have to say next, which is that in order to decrease the number of abortions, the way that you do that is by increasing access to sex education, increasing access to birth control, and also, the thing that I did not mention in my debate, which I should have, just making it easier to have kids, period. Just making it easier to have kids. Make it less expensive. Make it less resource intensive. Make it so that people actually want to have kids. Create conditions in which having kids is not a complete drain. Those are the things that decrease the number of abortions. So if that's truly the goal of a pro-lifer, if a pro-lifer is being completely sincere, maybe at first they'll take a minute and be like, I never considered that. I still think it should be illegal, but I've never considered that. But if they're sincere, they'll think about that. They will. You will have planted that seed in them. Because there are people who are pro-life and also pro-abortion. They exist. They're out there. I know that seems nonsensical, but they are out there. It's the forced birthers that I fucking despise. Okay? But if you are sincerely pro-life and you want to preserve the life of the fetus because you believe that is a human being, then that's what you'll do. You will support access to sex education, support access to birth control, and you will make circumstances better for people who want to have kids. You will make it cheaper and you will make it easier. That's what you'll do. Making abortion illegal does not help a damn thing. It does not help anything whatsoever. My brother is still pro-life. And he's also pro-choice. And that's how I convinced him. So it can be done. It can be done. He thinks my stance is wishy-washy. Well, make it clear that it's not. Ask him why he thinks it's wishy-washy. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just ask questions. You know? Okay, why is my stance wishy-washy? And then he explains it. And then you answer. You know, really sit down. Like, you guys really need to sit down and think about your responses. You know, and your positions. Because even now, I still have to sit down. Like, in the middle of this video, let me show you. In the middle of this video, I had a revelation. Right in the middle of it. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
Meant every word on the page.
Unless the doctors can say, well, they came to me and said that they're okay, and throughout all 9 months.
Never appear.
How many?
From adding more items.
Here, I wanted a boy. Flush it. Okay. They're trying to distract you.
Are gender selection
Right here.
abortions a reproductive decision? Are gender altering surgeries?
I had a revelation about my position on abortion in the middle of this video. Shut up.
Reproductive decisions.
See, when they're doing this, so let's talk about this. Gender selection abortions. Let's say that you got somebody who comes into the doctor and say, hey, doc, I got a girl. I wanted a boy. Flush it. I'm not in the doctor's room with them. If I were in the doctor's room with them, I'd say that's kind of... So right here, what I'm saying is, like, it's not my decision to make, right? Shitty of you, okay? But I still think, by the way, I do stand by that. It's shitty to, like, not want a girl, and that's why you get an abortion. That's a shitty thing to do. If I were the doctor, I'm not medically trained for that. I'm not ethically trained. I would have to consult with the ethical board and say, should we give this woman an abortion? But here's the thing. A woman or whoever should be allowed to detach something from their body whenever they want and for whatever reason they want. So if that means... That's my position, and that always has been my position. So when I'm presented with this question, even if I don't have an answer for it at first, you can reason it out mid-conversation. Means, you know what? I'm gonna bite this bullet. If that means that they do not want a girl, yes, they should be allowed to have that abortion. Period. There you go. Period. End of story. My new catchphrase. My point in bringing that up was, if you have grounded convictions, nobody can accuse you of being wishy-washy. They can accuse you of many things. They can accuse you of being pro-murder of babies, whatever. But being wishy-washy is not one of them. If you have grounded convictions, I respect you. I may not like you, but at least I respect you. You know? That's why I made that one tweet. I made a tweet about preppers, like libertarian / conservative preppers, you know, the people who are prepping for the end of the world. Those people have convictions. If you've met a prepper, like those people are insane. Like, they really honestly do think that the end of the world is nigh, and they're not quiet about it. And they will, like, take every action that they can. They will spend every dime that they can on ensuring the safety of themselves and their families for the end times. And to be clear, if there's an apocalypse, they're going to be the survivors. The preppers will be the survivors because they know what the fuck they're doing, and they do it. So I respect their conviction, you know? In that sense, I respect them immensely. I think they're insane, but I still respect them. I believe abortion should be illegal, even if my goal is to reduce the need for it. Exactly. I don't like abortion either. I've said this before multiple times. Abortion procedures, especially surgical ones, are invasive and nobody wants them. If you can avoid getting pregnant, you should. If you can avoid getting pregnant, you should. 100 times out of 100. Unless you want to be pregnant, obviously. Unless that's what you want. But if you don't want to get pregnant, then you should avoid it. And the best way to do that is through contraception, which conservatives Also don't like. Aren't abortions way safer than giving birth? Yes, they are. To my knowledge. I think past a certain point, like if you're at 35 weeks and you try to get an abortion, first of all, the doctor's not going to give it to you. But second of all, let's say that it's like completely necessary, right? Basically, there's like not that much difference between getting an abortion and giving birth, to my knowledge. Like there's really not that much difference safety-wise. If there is, feel free to correct me, but that's my understanding. So like, that's a rare circumstance anyway. But the only reason I'd advocate for an abortion in that case is if the mother's life or health, or even like I've mentioned, like if she's going to be in pain giving birth as opposed to an abortion, that's her choice to make. That is her decision. Could have swore you made a post about staying away from politics. Yeah, that was fucking months ago, Joe Jagoti. Just some PR BS? Yeah, it was partly for PR. What's your point? I did take a good long fucking break from politics for a month. And then I went and dunked on Matt Walsh, okay? What's your point? I understand that my Jubilee appearance was dog shit. I know that. So unless you have something productive to say, go away. I'm not going to be in favor of abstinence. No, people should have sex if they want to. Consenting parties, right? I don't know what you mean by Matt Walsh is hard to deny. Don't need to say anything else. Your attitude speaks for itself. You came in here with a fucking attitude, Joe. The first thing you say to me is, I thought you were going to take a break. Like, what the fuck do you expect in return? Joe? No, it's okay, Queen Laura. It's okay. I'm having fun. It's just funny because this is at least the second guy that's done this to me, where it's like, oh, I thought you were going to take a break from politics, but here I see you going to Matt Walsh and then making a fool of yourself again. And it's like, yeah, a break is a break. That doesn't mean it's fucking permanent, you dumbass. I'm still passionate about what I believe in, okay? I just I took a minute, I stepped back, and I was like, let's consider the optics here. The optics that I displayed on Jubilee were dog shit. They were, and I stand by that. Okay? They were not good optics. But I stepped back. I said, you know what? I'm going to fix my optics. And I did. And if you don't think so, then I'm sorry. But I think that I did. I will probably not be going on another Jubilee episode because I don't want to be on something that somebody is editing and I have no control over it. And they will, they're a multi-million-dollar corporation that very likely will make me look bad. For views, for clicks. It's hard to resist dunking on those fools. They hardly ever do public talks anymore because they're scared of exactly what you and Shark 300 did. Exactly. Yeah, it's, they are so scared of, like, talking honestly about their beliefs because they know they're dog shit. I don't think it's unfair to say you should generally avoid having sex, but it's okay if you do. But if you do, insert precautions. Well, here's the thing. Telling people not to have sex doesn't work. Should you say, like, in terms of what you should tell people who are not 18 yet, like let's take underage sex, right? You should tell them, hey, it's probably not the best idea to have sex until you're 18 at least. I believe that you should tell them that. That's fine to tell them. Because it's true. You should not have sex until you're at least 18. You shouldn't. That being the case, people are going to have sex before they're 18. Regardless of whether you want them to or not, regardless of what you tell them. They're going to. So that being the case, The next step of that is, okay, but let's say that you do have sex. Let's say that you do. Let's talk about what you do to be the safest that you can. It's the same exact thing that I would tell somebody who wants to use heroin, right? I would say, don't do that shit. It's stupid and you'll get addicted. But if you're going to, let's talk about the safety measures you can take so you don't kill yourself. Okay, I clearly can't stop you from doing heroin if you want to do it. So let's talk about how to do it without killing yourself, right? I think that's fine. Remember, folks, it is exceedingly rare to have a pregnancy if you are properly using birth control and condoms. Yeah, it's like basically impossible. If the female person, if you're having disgusting heterosexual sex, right? And the female person in the equation has birth control and the male person has a condom, it is basically impossible to get pregnant if you're doing it correctly. Like if you're putting on the condom correctly and the woman is taking the cis woman in this equation is taking her birth control correctly, it is basically impossible to get pregnant. Like, it's still possible, technically. It can happen like 1 in a bajillion times, but let's be real, it's not gonna happen. You know, you'd basically be winning the lottery at that point, or losing it, I guess. It's the DARE approach, except you're actually teaching safety and not just teaching kids how to do drugs and where to get them. Yeah, exactly. All DARE taught me was how to properly use slang and how to look like a dork. Yeah, DARE was so cringe, dude. I remember this fiery redhead came into our 7th grade, I think it was 7th grade class, and taught us, like, basically, do you guys know what sponge sex is? Like, he did this thing with us called sponge sex. And what he did was, maybe there's a similar concept that you guys did, but I try to tell people about sponge sex and they give me this weird look. And all it was he gave us a bunch of sponge, like he gave everybody a little sponge. And he said, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to find a person next to you and I want you to rub your sponge against theirs, right? So we did. And then he said, okay, find another person next to you and rub your sponge with theirs. So we did. And then and I think we did it 3 times. So we each had like 3 sessions of sponge sex in 6th grade, right? Just being real, this is what happened. So we each had 3 sessions of sponge sex, and then he said, okay, I'm going to give chlamydia to one of you. Gonna give us an STD to one of you. And he picked a person at random, and he said, okay, anybody who had sex, sponge sex, with that person, raise your hand. And a couple of people raised their hand, right? They were around him. And then he said, okay, anybody who had sex with one of those people, raise your hand. And the point was like most of the class had had sex with somebody who had sex with that person or had sex with that person, right? Directly. And like, that's not the worst way to explain how STDs work. It's not the worst way, but if the message is that you need to abstain until you're 18, like if that's the core message there, instead of just being like, you know, like, where's the sponge condom? You know, where's the birth control? The sponge condom, where is it? Because if you have a sponge condom, guess what? You don't get the STD. They just assume that teenagers are always raw dogging it. You know? Yeah, you are having sex with all of their past partners argument. Exactly. That was a DARE special. Imagine if Moms for Liberty was in the room for that class. Moms for Liberty would have no problem with that. They wouldn't, because Moms for Liberty are a bunch of Nazi psychos. They're hypocrites. So they'd have no problem with that, because at the end of the day, the message there is that you need to abstain from sex. And they're in favor of abstinence-only education. That is part of abstinence-only sex education. So, you know, Nazis and whatever, when they say that they're not in favor of sex education for kids, they excuse that. They make an exception for that, because that's abstinence only. So they're fine with abstinence-only sex education, just not any kind of other sex education, right? It's hypocritical. I gotta pee again. I'll be right back. Sorry I'm peeing a lot. Okay, I'm back. That wasn't so bad. I don't think it's the you're having sex with all their past partners thing, and more a demonstration as to how quickly things can spread, but it's not accurate since nobody bangs that much. Like, yeah, if you have the clap and you bang 3 other people, and those 3 bang 3 other people, you're gonna have a big spread. But in reality, nobody really bangs that much. I mean, like I said, it's not a terrible message to be like, if you don't use protection, then you're more likely to spread diseases. That's true. That's literally true, and we should teach kids that. But telling people that the best way to prevent it is abstinence, I guess that's also true. But teaching abstinence-only sex education is not the way to go. If you want to tell kids, yeah, if the best way to avoid this is to just not have sex. Okay? Thanks, man. Thanks, Einstein. I appreciate the input. It's like, yeah, of course. But they're gonna have sex. You know? Like, I knew a 15-year-old who was fucking pregnant. Okay? I legitimately knew a 15-year-old who was pregnant in school. They're going to have sex, regardless of whether you want them to or not. So, that being the case, just say, hey, listen, we told you not to have sex, but let's say you do. Okay, you didn't listen to us. Now, here's how you protect yourself, right? Give them the tools so they don't get fucking pregnant and lifelong STDs. I think that's fine. Not according to conservatives, though, because they think that you should suffer if you have premarital sex. They literally believe that. They think that STDs, this is a real thing. They think that STDs and pregnancy are a punishment for premarital sex. They believe that. And they believe that if a woman gets pregnant as a result of premarital sex, then she is now obligated to marry whoever impregnated her. That is unironically a lot of Christian beliefs. What a lot of Christians believe. Not all of them, mind you, not even most of them. Most Christians are very latent Christians. They're not religious Christians. They're just, yeah, I believe in God, but I don't go to church every Sunday, and I celebrate Christmas, but I don't particularly want to go to church on Christmas, whatever. So most Christians don't believe that, but the devout religious Christians do. And it's disgusting. Speak for yourself, I'm poly. I'm technically poly as well. We had a throuple going for a little bit, but she ghosted us, so whatever. It just sucks because I should unfollow her on Facebook. Like, I don't even log into Facebook a lot, but I do every once in a while, and every single fucking time I log into Facebook, I see her. I'm just tired of it. I liked her a lot. She just quit talking to us. I don't know why. Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. Just sucks, man. I liked her a lot. I had sex with one other woman because me and Katie are in an open relationship, quote unquote. So I had sex with one other woman, but like, I don't know. It wasn't for me. I don't know. I gotta have an emotional connection. Which I did with our third. I did, you know? Like, I was friends with her before I ever banged her. And I just miss that, you know? I miss it. That's the root of my frustration. It's not even that I can't bang her anymore. It's that I just fucking miss her and she just ghosted us. And it's like, come on, that sucks, man. That fucking sucks. Sorry. My BF of like a year ghosted me out of nowhere. I am so sorry, Hartley. That fucking sucks. I had a GF for 9 months back in college, my ex. And things fell through with us. You know, an abortion was involved, as it happens. And, you know, she just said some things that were pretty unforgivable. So I finally broke it off with her. And, you know, for the better part of a year, I was suffering really bad. Really bad. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, so I'm sorry. I don't go for the throuple thing personally. I like each relationship to be its own separate thing. Well, yeah, I mean, she was still dating outside of us. Like, we were in a throuple, but also an open relationship. You know what I mean? Katie doesn't really take advantage of it because, like, she's not really that into sex on its own. So, she doesn't. That's why we started it in the first place. Like, she'll still do whatever I ask her for the most part. But, like she just doesn't get that much pleasure. So, that's kind of why we have the open relationship to begin with. So she doesn't really cash in on it. I don't really cash in on it because like I'm doing my own thing with Twitch and YouTube and not Twitch anymore, but YouTube. So like I just like, and also instead of having sex, we've literally been watching One Piece instead. That's not a joke. Like I've had ample opportunity to say, "Hey, Katie, I want to have sex tonight," and I'm literally instead I'm just like, "Hey, let's watch One Piece." So I don't know. One Piece is great. Like I'd rather watch One Piece. Besides emotional intimacy, it's the best parts of relationship in my opinion. What, the friendship part or sex? One Piece fucks so hard. Where are you at in it? Well, I'm caught up. So like I'm caught up to the manga, except I didn't read like the latest chapter. But I got some spoilers. I don't really care that much anymore. But Katie and I are watching it again. For me, it's again for me. For her, it's for the first time. And we just got to Dressrosa. We're like 2 or 3 episodes into Dressrosa, and she is about to experience the horror, the absolute unbridled horror of the best villain in all of fiction. Enjoy that marathon. I told her it's like 140 episodes. The longest arc up to this point. Isn't it like over 1,000 episodes? Yes, and counting. Here, let's see what we're at. Anna Wave. Yeah, it's been going since like 1996 or something. Or like even earlier. I think like 1990, right? Yeah, so the anime's on episode 1082. For the dub. Or sorry, for the sub. For the dub, I'm not sure. You probably have to figure it out here. So it's sub. That's sub. That's sub. Okay, here we go. So 123 is dub. 124 is dub. Okay, so 124, at least on this website, 1024 is where the dub's caught up to. Yeah, the dub is pretty far behind. unfortunately. I'm actually going to meet their voice actors. For those who don't know, GalaxyCon Ohio is coming up. GalaxyCon Ohio. Columbus. And I'm going. I'm going, baby. Let's see the guest list. We got Grant Gustin. Don't know who that is. Charlie Cox. Wait, who's that? Wait, is that... Who's Charlie Cox? Oh, he was in Daredevil. He was Matt Murdock. No shit. Damn. William Shatner, Mike Tyson. Ron fucking Perlman's gonna be there, and that bitch is signing my shit. I don't know what he's gonna sign yet, but he's signing something. And he's gonna write that quote. I'm gonna make him write that quote. There's a lot of ways to lose a fucking house. Yeah, Paula Abdul's gonna be there. But the reason I brought this up is because the voice, like, so Steve Whitmire, like, there's a lot of people, like, a lot of, like, famous people there. You should honestly go look at the guest list. Like, there's a lot of big stars going to be there. And the voice actors, where are they at? Luffy Colleen Klinkenbeard is going to be there. And also, Christopher Sabat. My boy. My fucking boy. Christopher Sabat. If I mail you my copy of Fallout, can you get it signed? It'll cost $40, like, I think $40. So you'll also have to, like, cash at me, but yeah. I'd be willing to do that. Just make sure it gets to me before December 1st. Paula Abdul, yeah. My dream has been to give Chris Sabat a pink button-down shirt at a con. That'd be awesome. Probably not the first time that would have happened to him. But yeah, my two main boys, Luffy and Zoro, are going to be there. I'm fucking hype. If you're in or near Ohio, it is well worth the money and the time. Megara is Ruby? I don't know. I don't know anything about Ruby. Some people have told me to watch it, but I just... It seems more like eye candy than anything. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just... Pink? Oh, I thought you meant Ruby the anime. Wait. Megara is Ruby? What? What do you mean by that? Megara is pink? Ruby's depressingly mid? Okay. Good to know I should stay away from it. Pink Diamond. Oh! Let me see. Oh, they got Courage the Cowardly Dog voice actor there too. And Master Shake, Dana Snyder. They got so many good voices coming. MC Chris, who only ever, like, it looks like the only character they have for him is this one character from I remember this character. It was from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's just hilarious to me that this is like the one character that they have for him. The fucking diaper spider from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Remember when I did that, guys? That was cool, right? Please, here's my card, please. I shouldn't be mean. He's probably a great guy. I just, like, that's funny to me. Oh yeah, Abby Trott will be there. She did Demon Slayer. Alex Lee did Demon Slayer as well. Like, there's so many good people coming. Susie Young. Dan Schneider? Wait, where? Not Dan Schneider. Donna Snyder. I don't think Dan Schneider's going, is he? Oh, Suzanne Egan. There she is. Not my fault I can't read. Dan Schneider. Ugh. For those who don't know, Dan Schneider was let go from Nickelodeon because of his foot fetishism and also pedophilia, which often ran hand in hand. Like, he literally was... He's the one responsible for the fucking foot logo that Nickelodeon had. Like, he was so fucking shameless. Like, he's the reason we have this. And also, like, he did that one bit on iCarly where they took off their socks and shoes and, like, stuck their feet at the camera. Real freak shit, man. There he is. There's the big chungus. Disgusting. Denies foot fetish. Okay, bud. Okay, bud. Whatever you say. We believe you. 90s tainted. His last year at Nick, he had to do all of his director work from a separate building because he kept getting handsy with his child actors. Disgusting! Ew! Ew! Like, what the fuck? Oh, getting handsy with your child actors. So maybe fire him. Maybe get somebody new. Because I have news for you. Nothing that he did was groundbreaking anyway. Like, what? Like, you could have paid somebody half of what you were probably paying him and gotten a better product. Like, what's so special about fucking Dan Schneider? You know? It was probably his rich dad, if I had to guess. His dad was rich. That's what it was. I'm convinced. To be fair, he made Drake and Josh, which is massive. Fine. Drake and Josh was a good show. Fine. But I'm sorry, like, it was not that groundbreaking. It really wasn't. Like, Drake and Josh was a great show. It was fun. I loved it while I was growing up, but it was not like some kind of fucking artistic masterpiece, okay? It just wasn't. It really wasn't. It's certainly not worth having fucking Dan Schneider. I'm sorry. I volunteered coach one semester at high school. I feel I had more screening than these people literally paying kids massive amounts of money. Probably. Wasn't one of the two guys in Drake and Josh also exposed for some sketchy shit? Yeah, it was Drake. Drake Bell. I don't know exactly what it was, and I don't really care that much, but apparently he had some weird shit going on. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't feel like doing any more segments, but I'm not ending stream yet, so why don't we do some gaming? What do you guys think? We'll do a little Disco Elysium before we go. We got to get through this game. And I'm not getting through it on my own. I enjoy voice acting. Queen Laura, you should be able to change like the stream stuff. Also, any other admins who happen to be present. Moderators, whatever. If not, it's not a big deal. I don't care that much. Drake has come out as having a lapse and is moving forward. It's deeper, but it's not as bad as it sounded. Okay, fair enough. I know that he came to my my siblings' high school once, and they said that he was an asshole because everybody wanted him to sing like the theme song of Drake and Josh, which is like that. And I gonna find it to be so simple, but I found a way. I found a way, and so like they wanted him to sing that, but he kept singing like other songs that he wrote, and then like people kept like, I don't know if people were booing him or what, but like I understand the frustration, but also they're fucking high schoolers, man. Like, let's be real, you know? Like, they know Drake and Josh, they want to hear the Drake and Josh song. Just give it to them. Just give it to them. You know? But he threw a hissy fit. He threw a fucking hissy fit, and it's like, dude, come on. Not cool. Chill. Risk of Rain Returns. I still have to buy that. I still have to get it. Is it good? I know that it's 2D. I played the first Risk of Rain as well, and that was also very good. But I want to know if that's good. Damn, look at my fucking hat, dude. That's sick. Okay, wait. I was headed this way. Why? I'm probably not going to play for very long, just FYI. Who's this guy? Who the fuck is this? Hey, Kim, come check out this guy. Come get a load of this guy, Kim. Better mouth your watch around me, boy. Get it? Because he fucking screwed up the words. That was funny. You hear the distant squall of seabirds. I'm not in the mood to do the deep voice today. A splatter of bullet holes lines the wall. It's mechanically a mix of first and second game, whether for the better or for worse, it depends. For example, we have broken ass infusion from the first game. I forget what infusion is. It's been a hot minute since I played the first game. Disco Elysium is the kind of game you point to when AAA devs say they don't have time or budget to make something super deep. Well, to be fair, those game devs, like when you say the devs, quote unquote, like the people who actually work on the game, are subject to their superiors, you know? So when they are given a timeline, that is true sometimes. Like they just simply do not have the time or the resources to make that work.
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname.
Kim, look, it's bullet holes.
Where?
Looks around. Point to the chips on the wall. Someone's been shot. We're cops. We should solve it.
There? Those are old.
What do you mean, old?
These bullets were fired during the revolution, over half a century ago. They do not warrant investigation.
Okay, Kim. What can you tell me about this so-called revolution?
Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go?
Okay, then. Infusion granted max HP per kill. In Risk of Rain 2, it's capped at 100 HP per infusion. For the first game, you just get more HP per kill. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't like broken mechanics. That's my main gripe with Skyrim. Is like, at a certain point, you just become God. And it's so boring. I have to watch a tutorial on how to change details. Yeah, sorry for the platform switch, Queen Laura. I appreciate you dealing with it. Who's this guy?
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce.
She extends her hand in greeting.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
She steps closer and holds out her hand over the railing. Bethesda Buildcraft suffers from giving players everything. A good build system is restrictive. That's true. I feel like another problem with Skyrim is like I feel like I have to pick up everything all the time. You know? And like, you know, that gets old. I think becoming a god is fine if you're also dealing with gods, but I don't know how to balance that. Well, I feel like, okay, if you're going to give a player like the ability to go god mode, you have to limit it somehow. Where even if it's just like a meta thing, where it's like, well, you're currently in the human realm, so you can't use certain abilities. Like, okay, at least that's balancing. Like, I don't need like a deeply scientific explanation. I just need good gameplay. So like, and another thing is like, let's think about this, right? You're actually God at a certain point, right? In Skyrim, you're actually fucking God, but you still have to pick locks. Like, why? Why would you have to pick locks when you can slay dragons? What, you can't bust open a fucking somebody's front door? Like, that's another thing that I fucking hate. You know what I mean? But I can forgive that. I can forgive all of that if only, you know, it weren't such a collect-a-thon. You know? And also the combat's really boring. There's a lot of problems with it. There's a lot. When I became a stoner in high school around the turn of the millennium, I had hope that that America was moving towards cannabis legalization. But truly, my 30s was the best of all cases. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm so glad Ohio passed issue 2. I'm very happy. I didn't talk about it a whole lot, but I think it's fine because clearly it passed, and the abortion thing was a life or death situation, whereas the marijuana thing is, you know, not life or death, but certainly, you know, for many people, hopefully they'll be released from prison, right? I like collectathons, though. They're fine, but, like, not in Skyrim, you know what I mean? Okay, sorry. I was on the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. Joyce L. Joyce L, what's the L stand for, huh?
Peyton, my maiden name.
Her bony hand dangles from the sleeve of her oversight raincoat. The RCM, what is that? I'm a little foggy here. A little foggy on the details.
You, the Revachol Citizens Militia. The police.
Ah, what gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Huh.
What is implied here? That you're a drunk?
I'm not a drunk, I'm a police officer, you hear?
Of course you're not. It was only a joke.
Fuck it, I'll shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold, she seems relieved.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will. Gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode.
Thanks, Kim.
Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
Can always count on your support, buddy.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. The lieutenant is hatching some scheme.
Interesting. I like the empathy thing. I like it a lot.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
Okay. Give us your best French accent. No, baguette, Eiffel Tower. No, I am French. I love the Americans. How's that? Omelette du fromage. Gotta add the laugh. You're on a boat.
Why, yes I am.
She looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Does that boat got a name, perchance?
The boat? No. It is called Coeur d'Alete 19, because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word
That's not very fun.
Feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
You know what? I agree, Inland Empire. Thank you.
A breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below, the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that, a resounding darkness. You're reminded of something. Or someone.
Cool, but your boat really needs a name, lady.
Okay. How about Coeur d'Alete 19? Why?
She taps on the side of the boat and makes a hollow sound.
Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Coeur d'Alete, and its hull is 19 paces long.
How about the, X something or other?
The X something. The X what?
How about the, ex-wife?
Thank you for the suggestion. I see the word has emotional resonance for you.
Damn!
For me, sadly, none.
Didn't have to go
I will
there, lady.
stick with the factory name.
Okay, but what kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
How do you like it?
My sloop? I like it a lot.
How do you like your
It's
sloop,
the eel's
lady?
hips,
Huh?
baby.
It's the eel's hips? What? This lady's freaky. Do not get in bed with this lady. She will do unspeakable things to you.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Okay, Kim, okay. I hear you, buddy.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Not a lot of people on boats these days, now are there?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
And what exactly do you mean, archipelago? If that is a real word.
I mean, we are on Le Caillou, are we not?
Caillou, I thought we were on Revachol.
We are, and the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou.
Okay, fair enough. Still, I have not seen anyone else sail a boat around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle.
Pretty sure archipelago is a real word. No, it's not.
It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
Very, very interesting.
She's having a good time arguing against the law. Too good, perhaps.
She said ACAB. How is Caillou even successful? I don't know. Wasn't that like the cancer patient kid? Not literally. I think it was literally just a bald kid. Which is fine, but... like, you know, Canadian. Well, if it was Canadian, then at least he got treatment for his cancer free of charge. You got a license for this boat, bruv?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
Pleasure craft.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles.
Damn.
Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
Can I see a license, please?
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but two insulindic regattas. Even finished once.
That's great, ma'am. Still need to see a license.
Actually, you don't.
What do you mean, Kim?
The Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license. It's a little-known fact among us law officials.
Wait, exactly how is this a little-known fact?
I was just being polite. Even school children know the Wayfarer Act.
Thanks, Kim. Can always appreciate the support. Okay, forget the stupid Wayfarer Act. I had another question.
About the boat?
I think I have a handle on the boat thing.
Good.
Tell me about the Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
Okay, what do they do then? Pronoun police. What do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things.
Okay, sorry to do this. I gotta pee again. Hopefully this will be the last one before stream ends. Sorry I'm peeing a lot. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry to do this, but Katie and I decided we want to watch One Piece, so I'm gonna get through this dialogue shit, and then I'm going to end.
And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
How much money does the Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
Closest to a pentagram YouTube has? I guess.
A billion?
Damn. What exactly is a billion, if you don't mind explaining?
It's a number, officer. A big one.
I see. Very enlightening. And what exactly is it made of?
It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
Numbers like that mean nothing to me.
Yes, past a certain point, numbers begin to
Nice,
seem
Herschel.
imaginary. But they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their paychecks. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It is a tremendous responsibility.
Where exactly does Wild Pines get all of these billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing.
Apricots.
It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
What exactly does such a huge system want with a place like this?
You mean aside
Mod
from being the
check, if you will.
terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
8% of all cargo in the world. That is quite the endeavor indeed.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
What exactly can you tell me about this strike here?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Wait. What if I want to hear about trade secrets?
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade and Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
An octopus, I will slay it.
Good luck is only kept in place by the vested interests of half the civilized world, including your own.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and
Such
the
a himbo.
RCM both get their authority from the coalition government.
Yeah, okay, Kim. Thank you. Thank you for the
But
input.
I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
What is your role in this precisely?
I
might
believe
I
the
ask?
official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Oh, you mean Measurehead?
Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead.
How were the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of
Racist
February.
behemoth.
The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do
pretty
these
good.
things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in
Sorry, I'm not paying
December.
attention that much. I kind of just want to watch One Piece.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
Speed run.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Okay, I'm going to end this. I'm sorry.
Of course, Detective.
Sorry, I'm not focused enough for this. This is a great game. It's fantastic, and I love it. I'm just not in the mood. I tried. I really tried. I'm not in the mood at the moment, so you'll have to forgive me. Okay, I do not have any way of rating anybody at the moment. I know that YouTube lets you, but like it's a very complicated and convoluted system, so let me just see who's live. As much as it pains me, let me see who's live on Twitch. Oh, Shark's live. Here we go. Wait. Can I raid Shark? Tell me I can raid Shark. I can raid him on YouTube. If he lets me. Gov Lady Time, thank you. Okay, hold on. Okay, I don't know how to raid, so I'm just going to copy and paste the link here. Okay, go over to Shark Stream. Have fun over there. All right. Thank you all so much for watching tonight. I appreciate you all very much. Join the Discord if you haven't already. You can find the link in the description in the YouTube video or in the live feed, whatever. And yeah, I had a good time. Sorry, I'm very One Piece pilled, and I need to go watch. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all next weekend. Have a good rest of your weekend. Goodbye.